we sit by the lonely fire, and the world is what we long to see. Yet true love is my desire. Yet true love is my desire. Seek your worthy praise while life is sweet on the vine. Full our glasses raised, hailed as heroes divine. Slaying evils of men, monsters felled by our might. Dragons slain in their den, whisk the weak from their plight. The sun, it shines on another day. Snow, it freezes us to the bone. Our silence is the cold price I pay. My words are for thine ears alone. My words are for thine ears alone. Seek ye worthy praise while life is sweet on the vine. Full our glasses raised, hailed as heroes divine. Slaying evils of men, monsters felled by our might. Dragons slain in their den, whisk the weak from their plight. No gold nor jewels can I grant to thee, no lord am I by right, but at journey's end I'll sing a melody to win your sweetheart by tonight, to win your sweetheart by tonight. Seek ye worthy praise while life is sweet on the vine. Full our glasses raised, hailed as heroes divine. Slaying evils of men, monsters felled by our might. Dragons slain in their den, whisk the weak from their plight. Seek ye worthy praise while life is sweet on the vine. Full our glasses raised, hailed as heroes divine. Seek ye worthy praise while life is sweet on the vine. Full our glasses raised, hailed as heroes divine.
It began with the suicide of Charles Blackwell, just days after his 55th birthday. Then the Rhineswan family massacre. 3 generations painfully passing from this world, crying the same crimson tears Blackwell had.
Sit alone on the edge of
5 members of the prominent Rhineswan family were found dead.
After that, the media finally gave their murderer a name. The Red Crier Killer.
Memento mori. Remember you will die.
Investigators believe the killer may be the same individual the media has dubbed the Red Crier.
Memento mori. Remember you will die. them though, but I couldn't even play my role. Now vengeance is my only goal. Memento mori. Too late for sorry. No goodbye. Breath goes dry. I will cry when I remember you will die.
And good morning, best chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to delicious, malicious morning nonsense chat. We're back at it again. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We had a wonderful week chat. One from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, fantastic, fantastic Thursday chat. Fantastic. One day before Weeb Day. Well, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. All this is a good morning, LD and Best Chat. Good morning to you, Color Padista. That's what I'm saying. Morning, folks. In this heat, out in the South, I'm glad I don't live in Europe where you can't have an AC due to the government. Yeah. Like they identify what makes the people suffer, and they kind of like or alleviates people suffering, and they kind of take that away. Oh, it's heat wave. So you want an AC, huh? We're gonna remove those. Oh, you want to complain about the injustice, the crime happening to you and your family and your friends? We're going to lock you away because you're not allowed to say things. That's just ridiculous. It's another win for America. Duckworth says, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, Davina Duckworth. Shadow Dancer says, good morning. And chat, hello to you. Oh no, poor Dwayne. His asshole nature finally pissed off the wrong people. Looks like it. Well, the thing is, what caused him to be attacked by, not even, I guess it is Hollywood, but it's like the soy boys in Hollywood. It's like George Takei. It's like George Takei, just why wouldn't you admit that you're evil? And it's George Takei and it's Will Wheaton, like going, why wouldn't you admit that you're a Republican or something like that? Because Dwayne the Rock Johnson has admitted that he regrets endorsing Biden because it divided his fans. He's like, no, I don't really want to do that. So he's becoming apolitical. And they know that when someone goes apolitical, that really means that they're not on their side anymore. It lost control of them. So they have to bully you into declaring your colors. Let's see. Posthumus says, salute, CDLD. Hello to you. Best guests and cats. Hello to you, Posthumus. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Ellen phrases praise be to LD. Best chat. Of course, Space King today's morning is brought to you from the top of the Empire State Building. Fantastic. It's a Ace of the Sword. Silas Arch says, good morning, LD Rumble Chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ellen Fence says, thank God they turned the antennas off. I spent much of yesterday gaming out with the Grok and Gemini. Just how dead they would have been. Multiple full power radio towers blasting around them. It's a Gunplay Night says, good morning, LD and Best Chat. Praise be to Space King. I'm waiting for the next Space King episode. Where is it? What's going on? It's the Carter Ketchel says, more and Rumble Chat. Hello to you, Carter Ketchel. It's hitting 96 degrees Fahrenheit today. Good thing it's Thursday. Drink up and hydrate. Absolutely, absolutely. Lady Midnight as read by Orson Welles. Exactly. If only. Let's see. Shadowing Tronic says, good morning, all. Dealt with insomnia last night, so I might be quieter today. No problem, no problem. We'll let you hear why you're here, Shadowing Tronics. Let's see. Abragiodi. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Lady Fastlot says, good morning, LD and Best Chat. Sad news reported by Clownfish TV. Newsom quashed the Stop Killing game. Newsom did? Of course Newsom did. That's a two-punch to physical media. Fans will now only be able to rent games in media. Yeah, especially after the thing that came down from PlayStation. Right? But the thing is, so PlayStation came out and said, you know what, we're not going to be offering physical media anymore. However, what you can do is you can buy digital from us, which is interesting that they say that, because they recently just said, you know what, you will no longer have access to movies that you purchased on our system, because we're just getting rid of a bunch of movies. So PlayStation is purging a bunch of movies they had on PlayStation, purging them. You can no longer access them, and it doesn't matter if you paid for them or not. If you paid for them, then too bad. You're just not going to be able to watch them anymore because they're being purged from the system. That's it. That's all. You paid that money. You don't get to own it. Or you will own nothing and be happy. All right, so that's what the idea behind that is. But that's what happened with PlayStation. PlayStation's like, hey, you know what? You're no longer going to have physical media anymore. You're just it's all digital now. It's all digital. That's it. That's it. It's all digital. And then for some reason, it's kind of funny that fast food places are dunking on PlayStation for this. Check this out. Like pizza, like Domino's. I'm glad I shop at Domino's. I didn't know Domino's is so based, but yeah, Domino's is dunking on dunking on PlayStation. Oh man, I'm glad I usually purchase Domino's over any other pizza company. I worked for Domino's before, so I like Domino's. And it was before I knew they were this based. Check this out. Official statement from Domino's has come out and says, in response to trends in the gaming industry, as of April 1st, 2027, Domino's UK will cease production of physical pizzas and shift to production of digital pizzas only. Consumers will be able to download our full range of delicious pizza codes and, using the power of imagination, enjoy them in an entirely virtual sense. See, look, it's from the official UK account and everything. So it's pretty good stuff. Excellent stuff. Awesome. I can't wait to get my digital pizzas. Luke Fitz says, but Domino's is nasty. Doesn't use real cheese or tomatoes. Who does? What like pizza place does? That's not like a local, I guess. Let's see. Here we go, chat. Here we go. But also, it's not pizza. Domino's is not alone. Domino's is not alone. I'm pretty sure it's like a fake chicken, like a fake KFC. I don't know. It probably is. It doesn't have the gold mark next to it. It's just like a blue check mark, but it's still funny. KFC will stop serving physical food anymore. It's going to be digital food only. Right? Digital food only. KFC will stop offering its physical format starting today. Its products can only be consumed through an app in fake PNG format. And not only is it PNG format, it's a digital format only. It's fake PNG, so they're going to get the food with all the checkered background. You know how the internet tricks you into downloading a PNG. It is like, oh, it's a PNG, and it looks like has a transparent background, but really, it has a literal checkered background because the internet is hell sometimes. It's like there's some evil demons out there. And see. But there we go, Chad. Everyone's dogging on it. Everyone's dunking on it and stuff like that. It's pretty funny stuff. Greg and says, good morning, everyone. Best Chad. It's day 2 of a heat wave. Also, PlayStation and X. You know what? I haven't really noticed. You know why? I have an AC. I have a really good AC. I bought an AC unit that pumps cold air directly into my face. And it's an AC unit that is too powerful for the room. So it's pretty good stuff. It's pretty good stuff, chat. Pretty good stuff. It becomes like ice cold. And see, chat interest. I make my own pizzas. I know what goes into it. Yeah, making your own pizza is ideal. Making your own pizza is always pretty good. I made some of my own pizza before from scratch. Like I made like my own keto pizza before, right? I made the crust from cheese. It was a weird like cheese recipe to make the crust. It was pretty good though. Made my own sauce. Got some pepperonis or whatever. Could put whatever I want on it. It was really good. Kid Crush it was way better, I think, than anything I've gotten from a pizza place. Kid Crush is Domino's uses more cheese than Pizza Hut, or at least they don't use potato starch, which my mother is allergic to. Well, that's good. See, I haven't had Pizza Hut in a long time. Pizza Hut I found pretty good, but Domino's I think is a lot more customer friendly. Been a lot more customer friendly. And this is AC is nice. This is not looking forward to that $150 bill. Fortunately for me, I have a deal with my power company. I get free electricity at night. So I mean, it is like that high. It is that high, but it's not quite 150. Not all the time, anyway. It's Ivana Machuca says, "I good morning all. Shout out to Mexico. They're going crazy at the World Cup. Are they? What happened at the World Cup? Something good happened." Let's see. That's a freezer. That's pretty good stuff. Chris is a heck of a game last night. Odds were against the USA, but they pulled through. Well, that's pretty interesting. Oh, so the USA won? The USA won, huh? Interesting. Or am I reading that wrong? Let's see. I don't mean to be an ass. However, when do you plan to make Toph Bei Fong video? I'm working on that right now. Also, especially because what's it called? The Avatar stuff. There's a lot of videos I'm working on at once. Let's see. Ghost goes. I actually have I already have the thumbnail for it too. Ghost goes says, I have a pilfered hotel AC. You know the kind. You may get a sore throat, but you'll never be at risk of getting hot. You just like take their AC. And Salem Fitz says, quit bragging about living in freedom. I mean Texas. Yeah, I got a really good AC. It's like 90 degrees outside. You say feels good to me. All right, chat. Well, here we go. First news of the evening or the morning, I guess. There you go. Dwayne the Rock Johnson has angered the soy boys as he meow. There's a USA Internet ID law is most likely going to be law. And then they passed it. I think what they passed was it's going to be for kids that they have to verify their age, which is kind of where it starts. Like it sounds good because it kind of keeps kids off of obscene websites, and it's going to be a knockback for the evil people trying to manipulate and delude children. Like you can't access pornography anymore. That sounds good. But then, of course, it's going to be like, oh, we have this. Why not have this? Why not have an ID for adults? And soon, they're going to use that as a stepping stone to force digital ID. Michael Vaughn says, good morning, LD and Best Chat. At the summer school during my schools, Reno, it's odd since I started here 8 years ago, but things are just different enough to feel off. That's interesting. But I guess it's pretty interesting that they kind of like put you back in the school that you started off in. It's pretty cool. Let's see. But good luck to you, Megathon. Hope things go well. Let's see. Porion. Viewer says that everyone. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. And the law was like the law that passed was for kids. Let's see, chat. All right, here we go. Dwayne Johnson is facing backlash for staying quiet on politics with Star Trek icon George Takei. Like, people, he's like a meme, right? It's like, oh my, he's a meme because he became a meme because he's like he's got that deep voice and he's gay. That's kind of it. As I judge George Takei, and he's like he just was a samurai or something like that. And also he became like this weird TDS activist. That's basically a big one. So did Will Wheaton. But here's the funny thing about this whole. I'm not sure if this is the article or not, but like that's not the article, but it's like a little summary of the article. But in this one, it's like George Takei telling him that silence is complicity. Complicity in what? But here's the thing: they called George Takei a Star Trek icon, right? And then they go and Stand By Me actor Will Wheaton. Stand By Me actor Will Wheaton. Oh, okay, interesting. Like his main credit is not Star Trek. His main credit is Stand By Me. Okay, that's interesting. Like that's Wesley. He played Wesley in Star Trek, but apparently he's that's too undignified. I guess is not really. I guess he's not really an icon. That's kind of funny though. It's because Will Wheaton is not a Star Trek icon in this context. He's a Stand By Me, not even star or anything. A Stand By Me actor. And Stand By Me actor. Adding, so disappointing to find he is such a coward. Will Wheaton is the face of soy boys. Like he is. It's like all the soy boys will try to copy Will Wheaton. Like women try to copy the latest hairdo of the latest star in Hollywood. It's kind of like that. Like they try to emulate what Will Wheaton does, at least at one point in time. This is kind of funny. That's how they introduced them. At least Will Wheaton. He's a Stand By Me actor. Johnson told Fox News. First of all, he's talking to Fox News. That's a big mistake on his part because they don't like that. How dare you give Fox News a time of day? It's so disappointing to find out he's such a coward. I'm pretty sure he's even registered with Dwayne the Rock Johnson being called a coward by Will Wheaton. It's like being called a racist by Hitler. Johnson told Fox News in 2024 that he regretted endorsing Joe Biden. Oh man, a mistake there, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Now you're on their radar again. And say, but because it caused division amongst his fans, adding, because Joe Biden was obviously retarded and insane. why would you endorse this guy? The only people who would like legitimately maybe endorse Joe Biden are pickled brain boomers like George R. R. Martin, like leftovers from the hippie generation. And see, my goal is to bring the country together. I believe in that. There will be no endorsements at this level of influence. I will keep my politics to myself. It is between me and the ballot box. Blockbuster actor expanded on his newfound aversion to political talking, to political talk by telling Esquire this month, "What I have to learn through experience is that I need to keep need not want the main thing." And the main thing for me, the thing that in the morning I swing my legs out of bed and I run towards, is creating. It's art. It's storytelling. I learn I'm going to keep my politics to myself. There are moments when, hey, there's nothing you can't talk about. If I'm wrong, I tell you I'm wrong. Or if I feel like I got a leg up on this, then it's the right way to go. I'll share it with you. Politics is omnipresent and it's forever. I don't like it. I hate it all. I hate it at times. I hate the slinging. I hate the bullshit that comes with it. So yeah, The Rock is like, you know what? I'm done with this. I just wanted to, focus on my art and my fans. It's a Lady Fan says, we always knew Dwayne the Rock Johnson was a coward. What else he was new? It's a well, yeah, he's taking a step back from politics. He's like, no, none of that stuff. I'm just going to focus on working over here. It's a But I mean, come on. Really the only people who would endorse Joe Biden at the point that he ran for president were like just pickle brain boomers who are just whose brains have been rotted out by the hippie generation. Yeah, but the boomers are really that was a mistake. Fucking boomers just ruin everything. But even my friend who was like works, he's like he works at a pharmacy. He's just like yeah, the boomers come in there and they just want to deal. It's like they are like the boomers feel like they're owed something for getting old and sick. They just want instant discounts and they hate the fact that they don't qualify just because they exist. But anyway, chat. So it really was the give me generation. You owe me for some reason, because they grew up in a world of plenty, a world where everything was on the table. They could take it whatever they wanted, and then they voted in Joe Biden. The boomers voted in Joe Biden. Thanks, boomers. All right, Chad. Let's go over here. Chat. Yeah, Crusher didn't become Q, he became a traveler. Yeah, he didn't even become Q, became a traveler, which I don't even know what the hell that is. I remember that episode vaguely, but it's like, it's time for Wesley to go. And then he comes, and then Wesley is just back. He's just back, like in the movies that came after. He's just back there. He's not even a main character. I don't even think he has a speaking part. He's just there in the background. He's just back now. Biden won. Yeah, so Biden won his election. Yeah, he was chosen. Like, all right, Trump is winning. Everyone go to bed. And then in the middle of the night, Biden got like a bajillion votes out of nowhere. Just when they had said they had stopped counting, that's when he got all these votes. Interesting. How did you stop counting and suddenly Biden get all these votes? Very interesting. Very peculiar. People could be asking the wrong questions. It's just like, oh, well, what about this tracker and this tracker and this line of accountability? Like, no. How do they say they're stopped counting and suddenly we wake up and he's got like a bajillion votes? Okay, how do you count without counting? They literally told us they counted without counting. It's like we stopped counting and somehow Biden just got more votes. That doesn't make any sense. All right, it's called a continuity error. Volition Dev, good morning, LD. They just celebrating my birthday this morning and noticed the notification. What I miss? Welcome, Volition Dev. Welcome. And happy birthday to you. Fantastic. And see you, chat. Let me see what Here we go. And happy birthday to you. Let's see. Let me see here. Get this ready to go. By the way, chat, speaking of, since we are now going to the main part of the show, speaking of the, let's see. Where is it? As Symbiote sent a $20 super chat yesterday $20 super chat yesterday, and at the very end of the stream, and I had ended the stream before it reached me, I guess, and I didn't get to do it. So yesterday, SMB sent at the end of the stream $20. I did count it though, so it is counted here. So that's kind of why we're at 385 out of 400. So technically speaking, we only need like $15 to get to the Venture Brothers stream this weekend. This immune says Boomy is definitely that old man in the game that young men don't survive. That is definitely true. Like Boomy not only is a leader, like he not only is a king, and being a king in this era, like this era of weird war, is crazy. Because it's very volatile. So it can get pretty interesting as a leader in the world of Avatar. So yes, he's been the king for decades. First of all, second of all, he's also this he's also in this like White Lotus thing, White Lotus association organization or whatever. He's also an earthbender. Like he is an old man in a world where old men die young, and it kind of shows. Or men die young. He's an old man in a world where men die young, not old men die young. but it shows in the world of Avatar, like there's all these like older guys. In 100 years of war, like old veterans, you got to watch out. These guys have been able to survive. It's kind of why Boomy is awesome. Iroh is awesome. Even Zhong is pretty awesome, and Paku is awesome. Like all these older men, these old gray bearded men, white hair guys, they're all insanely powerful because they're old men, live like old warriors, mind you, not just old men who kind of like you could be a man in an era of war and just kind of hide somewhere. But these are all old warriors in an era where war has been raging for 100 years, and so yeah. These are definitely guys who have gone through their paces and somehow managed to stay alive. It's Boomy's like 108 years old. He's like 100-something years old because he was alive. He knew Aang before Aang disappeared, and then he disappeared for 100 years. So yeah, he's at least 100 at the very least, and he's probably been king for a while. He's a wise king too. How far are we in Venture Brothers? I think we're on episode 7 or something like that. I think it's around there. We just got through the episode of like one of my favorites. We got through one of my favorite episodes of Venture Brothers is the Ghost of Sargassos or something like that, where it's like Major Tom and Action Man is there. It's very, very heavy. It builds itself very heavily on one of David Bowie's songs, which I like. I like that. But it's also a really funny story. It's like just they run to ghost pirates who are just like regular dudes pretending to be ghost pirates. It feels very Scooby-Doo. But it's just they run to Brock Samson. Just Brock Samson's killing all of his men. It's like what the hell? You had to go crazy and kill somebody. I haven't got to the Mecha Shiva episode yet. We just got through the episode. I think that was one of the episodes we watched, and then another episode we watched. I believe last time was what was it? It's something to do with I forgot. I had a second ago. I forgot which one it was. But we're making some good progress, I think. This. Oh, you're going to love the. Yeah, it's technically David Bowie at first, right? At first, it's technically David Bowie at first. I like the show. I like David Bowie. I like David Bowie quite a bit. I think his music is pretty fun. I like the Labyrinth. Labyrinth is still one of my favorite movies, even though it's a girls' movie. Really, technically speaking, it is a pretty good movie. But which as Symbiote once again for your generous donation at the end of the stream there, appreciate it. It's $20 super chat. I have counted it on the tally, and we are just $15 away. Is $15 away, chat? Where is it? Make sure it's all here. Fantastic. All right. Well, actually, we got a super chat in a second ago. So technically speaking, we are just $13 away. Technically speaking. All right, there we go. Let's see. Tao Generation says, "Good morning, everyone. Using the title of the stream as an excuse, I want to say that the Hex trailer looks like it's these fake. It does. It looks like a fake AI generated trailer. It does. Without the humor, it does. Like it's like without the the self awareness Like it's trying to trick you into thinking that it's an actual trailer produced by people when it looks pretty AI. It kind of looks AI. It's a well, yeah, she's supposed to be. She's Sarah the selfish, but she's supposed to be. They point it out too. Like, wait, you're so selfish, Sarah. You're so needy. You're so whiny. But she changed over the course of the story. At the end, she learns to it's not up to everyone else in the world to make the world better for me. I have to do this. I have to face my own consequences. And that's her battle at the end with Jareth. And she has to reject the guy, right? She has to reject the Goblin King, who is David Bowie, right? And so at the end, like usually, like today, it would be about her, accepting him and just I deserve this. I deserve to be queen. Forget you, little brother, because she doesn't have a little brother. You really think you think that? Would you really think that today, a female protagonist who is selfish and wants the world would one be considered in the wrong for that, and two would sacrifice everything to save her little brother? Like, I don't think so. She's like, oh, it's you're owed this. You're owed this. You're owed all of this. And see, Evolution does. I remember the sister being mad her stepbro ate her cookies. He they did something in terms of like they took a one of her stuffed animals because she's really attached to her stuffed animals, and they gave it to the baby to play with, and she got really angry with that. That's kind of what sparked her into sending the little brother away. She thought it was a joke, but it actually worked. But once again, thank you very much, S Symbiote, for the $20 yesterday. Unfortunately, we couldn't read it yesterday, but we have read it today. Boomy is definitely that old man in the game that young men don't survive. Yeah. 100 Years of War or forge old warriors that are pretty much invincible. Pretty much. Anyway, chat. Anyway, let's get down to business with the film Hexed. Let's check it out. I got a couple of things on this. Let's check it out.
The upcoming Walt Disney Animated Studios film Hexed, and right from the get-go, I have to say this was
it's AI. I get this outright from the get-go. It looks already AI. Like somebody used AI to copy the Pixar style.
I have to say this was a great palate cleanser after seeing the Shrek 5 trailer. Honestly, anything would look good next to that abomination, but at the same time, I think that Hexed is really intriguing, and I've been very excited about it right from the get-go. We'll dive right into the trailer in just a moment, but first, I want to give a little rundown of what we already knew about the film ahead of time. The first we really heard of the movie was at D23 last year, and it was very minimal explanation. The film was set to follow a boy and his mother who go on an adventure in a world of magic when he begins to manifest powers. That was really all we knew, and whilst it was interesting...
Wait a minute. That's like far from what we're getting. The boy and his mother going to of course, the boy and his mother can't be like a boy and his dad, because that would be too unrealistic. All right, now we have all these single mothers because they keep divorcing their husbands, stealing the kids from them. But and we can't have the dad show a dad in a position of authority and as a positive force in the kid's life. You can't do that. And then they changed it to it's just a girl with powers now going to another world. Okay. All right, then.
At the same time, it's not much to go off of. In April this year, we found out there'd been some creative changes. The most obvious...
It's just going to be more quirk slop. It's going to be more Disney quirky slop.
Being the film was now set to center around a girl, Billy, and her relationship with her mum, which already had a lot of people complain.
Look at his face. It's more quirk. It looks so quirky. It's more Disney quirk slop. It's like turning red. It's in the turning red.
I've seen so many people upset that a male protagonist was gender swapped and that Disney has an aversion to male protagonists. I don't think
they do. They don't like male protagonists very much.
That's fair. It's more that female-led films are among their biggest hits. And so in a time when they're struggling, they're going to go back to what they know for a fact works. On top of that, it would have drawn so many comparisons to Harry Potter, which is being rebooted at the end of the year. And so why would you risk your attempt at...
This is a feminists view witches and witchcraft as them reclaiming their feminine powers. They realize they are male witches too. Yeah. But that's kind of what the whole thing is, that we're reclaiming our feminine powers. Like, no, it's not how that goes. It's about like the whole thing is going to nature, not raging against men. It's dumb. Like, why is it considered stupid and loser behavior when a man rages against a woman or women, but it's considered empowering when a woman raises against a man? It's like it's the same loser behavior.
The comeback for original content being labelled a Potter clone and laughed out of the cinema. Now, though, we've got our first look teaser for the film, which is set to release on the 25th of November 2025, as Walt Disney Animation's first big original film in 2 years. And I think it's pretty clear they want it to get a lot of traction. And
Is it that original? I guess original in terms of like it's not copied from a story, but this looks like more like Quirk Slop. This is quirky, the same quirky character they put in everything.
to do really well. After all, like I said, it's very
Yeah, it's just Asha, because it's Asha, it's Moana, it's all these characters. They have one personality that all their female characters share, and they have one writer that writes all the quirk.
obvious that they've been struggling in that regard for quite a long while. I mean, much like Pixar, it's been ages since they had a hit at the box office for a fresh concept. It will quite literally be 10 years since the release of Moana by the time that Hexed has its release. Moana did very well and cemented itself as a
Moana sucks. It sucks. Both movies suck. They're both pretty bad. I watched both of those. I was like, what is this? The only really good part about Moana that might trick you into thinking that's good is Maui. Maui's awesome in both movies. The movie really should be about Maui. He does all the work, especially in 2. Don't get me started on Moana 2. Moana 2 sucks. That is a horrible movie. It's not really offensive. It's more like it's really, really bad. Like it's written by it's like some producer at Disney took their niece's fan fiction and turned it unchanged into the second movie. That's what it seemed like. And here's the thing. They are so afraid. Modern day Disney is so afraid and so averse to heterosexuality. It really, like, Moana is not gay in the second one, but they give, like, they add in like a little sister, right? They add in a little sister. And it's like, okay, well, Moana acts as if it's her daughter. Right, it's kind of like the movie, the storyline, and Moana's actions and how they kind of set up the little sister, in the relation to Moana. It's set up like it's her daughter, but canonically it's her little sister that her parents had while in the intervening years, I guess. And the movie would have had so much more impact if it was her daughter. Like, it felt like it was written as if that little girl is her daughter. But they learned that that won't fly well with our lesbian audience and our feminist audience, because that would have meant that Moana has to have a man, like, it has to have a husband, right? She, like, in this culture, she probably has a husband if that's the case. We can't have that. We can't have that. We can't have her tied down, because remember, in the eyes of the corporate media, the modern corporation, a woman ceases to exist if she gets married. That's kind of the whole thing. Like, the whole idea is a woman loses her identity. A woman loses everything. She becomes part of someone else's story when she gets married. That's kind of what the mandate is for marriage with women. Like, if you want to be a woman with a cool story and a cool adventure, and you want to live life at its highest, do not get married, because if you get married, you just become part of a man's story. That's kind of the whole thing. That's why the modern day Supergirl is like, oh, don't worry, she's not it's not about her being saved by a man or falling in love with a man or anything like that, right? Because if that's the case, if she gets like a boyfriend or whatever, and it comes from like a position of where he's powerful and he romances her, well, then that's too much. Okay, we can't have that. That means she ceases to exist as a person and becomes a part of him, essentially. Becomes a slave or something like that, which is weird, because the marriage is the thing that the women usually typically wanted. But so it feels, if you see Moana 2, it really does feel like that is the case. Definitely, that it was originally written that Moana has like a daughter in the intervening years, but they kind of pulled that back and turned that daughter into a little sister that her dad and mom had, I guess. But the movie loses so much impact, because it's like she's okay. So Moana 2 is about her going on this. First of all, the whole story is retarded, because it's about, like, she's just trying to find new people. Like, she's trying to find people besides people on her island, right? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, it becomes a big ticking clock that she has to find this lost civilization within a certain amount of time, or else, like, something bad's going to happen. So the idea is, there was some guy who tried to do this before and like never returned or got lost. So she's facing down the choice of like of going on this mission to find this other civilization or something like that, and then possibly never coming back. So she gives her sister like a hug and like I want to go with you, and it's like it would be a really touching moment if it was her daughter, because it comes up with the idea, it brings up the idea of who's going to raise her, how is she going to be brought up if she doesn't have Moana. And if it was her daughter, like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, she's not going to have her mother growing up. That's going to be pretty harsh. But it's her sister, so yeah, who cares? You have your mother and your father to take care of it. The mother and the father are supposed to take care of her. Like, it's not really your job, Moana. So yeah, this big touching send off scene in Moana 2, where it's like, what am I going to do without you? What am I going to do, Moana? Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to be raised? How am I going to grow up without you? It's like, okay, well, I mean, it's your sister, so I guess it is one thing, but you have your parents still. Their parents are still there to raise her like they should. So it's like they wanted to give her a daughter, but it's like, well, that means that she would have to have a man in her life, a husband. And there is a character that probably was her husband. There's like this guy who's like really into legends and writing stories and stuff like that. And his whole job is to like write legends, paint pictures on these little blankets so people can look at them and know the legends. So my guess is that guy was her husband originally. Like, it was supposed to be like Moana, her daughter, and her husband, and because that guy goes on the journey too. Right, that guy goes on the journey too. So basically, they're leaving their daughter. They would be leaving their daughter behind, with their grandpa or whatever. But nope, Moana does not get any love interest. She's just as asexual as the other modern day Disney princesses, and she doesn't even fall in love with Maui or anything. There's no like hint at it or anything. There's like a guy they bring on, which is the guy I assume would have been her husband had they not been cowards. And they and there's no flirting, there's not even a hint of love interest, which is what girls want. Even little girls like that. It's kind of why girls' toys, one of the most iconic girls' toy in the world was Barbie and Ken. Barbie and Ken. Because little girls want to play romance. They want to play with these husband and wife things, play house, that sort of thing. All right, that's kind of the natural progression. Right, men want to play war, boys want to play war, girls want to play homemaker, want to play house. Want to play with Barbie and Ken. So there's no romance in it. They kind of like, they want to gear a movie towards girls, but they take away all the romance. And the thing is, they want to push on the idea of you can be powerful, you can be messy, you can be gross too, ha ha ha, you could be a little bad too, girls. And like, they don't want that. Like, where's the romance though? It's like trying to like, we're making this for men and taking on all the action because you want to push something else on men. Like, what? No, you gotta give us the stuff we want. You have to. But yeah, modern day Disney is just so averse to romance and heterosexuality that they're so willing to make characters seem gay or whatever, but they're so scared of making characters even be hinted as straight. So obviously, Moana does not have a daughter. She does not have a husband. She has a little sister who's written as her daughter, sort of. And she has a guy friend that she knows who happens to be into the same thing she is, and very like apparently close to her, but is not her husband or boyfriend. So we can't have her be attached to anyone, because that means her identity has been overlapped and she is discarded and everything. She loses her power, which is not true at all. It's not true at all. You can definitely have like this woman be awesome and be married. It's not exclusive. It's not either or. So this is, but Maui and Moana would be the feminist ideal, since only a god would suffice for the main character. You would think so. Like, you would think that would be the case, right? But I'm pretty sure like the feminist ideal, like, oh, he's just like a lower tier god. he's just a demigod. Give me Zeus. Don't you know, like how a woman is only a part of a man's story after marriage? Parents cease to exist once they have kids. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So yeah, that's a feminist tagline. It's one the ideal they push. Like if you get married or have a boyfriend, you're just part of his story. You got to make your own story, girlfriend. Reject men. If it's LD, it was a TV show that Bob Iger turned to a movie because they needed a box office hit. And yeah, that's what I learned later. Like, and it feels that way. Like that's why they have so many characters that don't do anything. Like they bring along the guy that can tell stories because he knows all legends, but that never really comes into play. The only one that comes into play is the quirky tech girl because of course they have to have a quirky girl in STEM because it's Disney. She comes into play because she builds the big raft they sail on. But she really never does anything after that. Not really. Then they have like this old man who's there to grow food, but he never comes into play either. So, and wanted to it really yeah. You tell me it's supposed to be it was supposed to be a TV show. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Makes a lot of sense. And see, Palestiana. So they should find us chances. I was the weird kid growing up, and I'm getting tired of this brand of quirky. It comes off like they're trying too hard. It does. Like they're very insecure about this whole thing. David Musquin says, "LD, how dare you adhere to traditional standards that have been around for thousands of years? Shame on you! You go in the corner." Yeah. Well, by the way, chat, don't tempt me because Dwarf Monster came out with what I assume is another retarded video, but this time, chat, we can watch it tomorrow because it's about Apothecary Diaries and how it's sexist. How Apothecary Diaries is a sexist story written by your sexist uncle. All right. That's what so that could be interesting. It's like, speaking of being horrible for sticking to traditional values that have been around for thousands of years, we got to listen to the enlightenment of Door Monster and how actually that's old white man stuff. We got new stuff today. We're going to correct the wrongs of the anime. I had that in the roster actually today. I had that in the roster today, chat today. And if we reach, I'll tell you what, if we reach 450 today, we'll jump right to that. We'll jump right to that, which is the fake wizard video about the culture war and how it's technically been lost, but we'll see. Also, I don't know, would you rather not watch the video? Interesting. It was I'm intrigued and horrified at the possibility of another Door Monster video. Yeah, it's kind of like a either or. Like it's going to be really retarded, but it could be entertainingly retarded. And so, chat. All right. Let me see. Make sure everything is up to snuff here. All right.
Key franchise for Disney in the modern era. They followed this with sequels in the form of Ralph Breaks the Internet and Frozen 2 before we came to COVID. Now, some of these other films might have been smash hits in an alternate universe. We'll never know for sure. Raya and the Last Dragon was a full Disney Plus release, and Encanto...
Well, maybe if they didn't market Wreck-It Ralph 2 on, oh, yeah, your princess, you rely on a man to do all your work for you. Yeah, because, Vanellope... whatever her name is, Vanellope, whatever. She totally didn't. That's why the movie's called Vanellope and not Wreck-It Ralph. The Wreck-It Ralph did all the work in that movie. He did all the work. If it was not for Wreck-It Ralph, Vanellope would just be a in the back. No one would remember her. She's being an idiot. Okay, so I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to do that. Where it's like, oh yeah, Vanellope is going to take the charge against the patriarchy by saying princesses need to find their own way and not rely on a man or whatever. Like when you had Wreck-It Ralph do everything for you. Like, shut up. And see. Also, I do like the fact that they're trying to have all these like really powerful, strong, independent women, but the men always do all the work. Like Maui does all the work in Moana 2. Maui does all the work in One-on-One, and there's always like the 1 or 2 is so retarded. Like the storyline is so stupid, and they're trying to push it as like a girl power movie. It's like, but all the men do all the work though. The men just hand you everything. But in Encanto, it's Bruno. Bruno does a big chunk of the work. So Maribel does not have to. She does a big chunk of the work. Like it's all these like big girl power movies. they tend to have like men do all the work for some reason, and they still claim credit for it. Like, Moana in Moana 2 gets like struck by lightning, and she gets a vision of where to go, and then instead of like, okay, here's the mission. You got to find this location of a secret civilization before XYZ happens. And oh, that's pretty interesting. Hypothetically, it could be kind of interesting because now the clock is ticking and she has to go there for some reason. But like find a lost civilization, that's a pretty big task. Fortunately, there's a big star that shows her exactly where to go. Oh, well, that's the man who came to her in the vision, is the previous explorer who tried to go to wherever this is, and then he's like, okay, go here, and then sends a star to guide her. Like, what's his wish? I'm looking to the stars to guide me. What's his wish? Let's see. But yeah, it's like every single time, it's like, how about you have the main character do things on her own, like figure stuff out? It doesn't really work. See, Wreck-It Ralph 2 screams DeviantArt fan fiction. Yeah, I didn't watch it. I was excited for Wreck-It Ralph 2 until I saw that commercial where it's all about Penelope telling the princesses what for, and like, oh, you guys all suck. You gotta reject the prince. That's dumb. That's all patriarchy. So I didn't watch Wreck-It Ralph 2 for that reason. Like, it's obviously going to be some weird feminist slop, some fem slop, feminist slop about where everything's quirky and anti-male and all that stuff. And Next Night 2 says, the quirky stuff in the media right now is dumb. One of my many reasons I no longer watch TV shows, movies, or read comic books. Yeah, everything's quirky. And not everything needs to be quirky. And it's like, have you ever seen the Mahler's video on Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws? That's the damage quirky does. It's like, stop being quirky for 5 minutes and take something seriously. Take something seriously. Like, something horrible has happened. Same thing in Mixtape, where like in Mixtape, like she gets betrayed by her friend. Like she has a fight with her friend Cassandra, and they have a big falling out, and then she has to still do the whole. This is something I think I forgot what it was, like something by Portishead, and it was like released in this year and all this stuff like that. She still has to be like that person, even like. And Mahler was saying like, be sad properly, like just be sad. We don't need a rundown every time. Let's be sad, damn it. And that's kind of what we're at. Like, stop. Like, dude, there's a time to be quirky, I guess. There's time to be flippant. There's time to make jokes, but it can't be all the time. All right, stop it. Not every instance needs a quip. Not everything needs an answer or response. Sometimes you just let things be quiet. Sometimes you got to have like this a moment of seriousness. Okay, not everything needs to be followed up with a joke.
Didn't get a full theatrical run before going to streaming, and whilst it did well on Disney Plus, it really underperformed at the box office whilst it was out.
Oh, Frank Casamento, thank you very much for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Frank Casamento. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Thanks for the 10 gifted memberships. Let me get the right proper clip here. Thank you very, very much. Let me see here. Should be this one. Holy shit. Thank you very much, Frank Casamento. Thank you very, very much. And welcome to 10 new members of the Lit Legion. The Green Rises. Exactly. Thank you very, very much. I'll add that to the tally in a second here.
Strange World was next and was a box office bomb, and Wish was their next film, which similarly struggled to draw a crowd. However, as soon as they went to sequels...
Yeah, because their next film was Wish. It's like what a horrible, horrible movie. It's just, there's nothing. It feels so soulless, so by the numbers. Is so soulless. And it's like, okay, well, the bad guy is evil because he's a man. There we go, chat. We have reached it. We have reached we have passed the $400 mark, and now we have unlocked Venture Brothers. Now, bringing it to the 500 for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Generation X. And we get that one, chat. Then we get that one. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Where is it? Come on. There we are, chat. There we are. Boom. All right. Well, thank you very much. So Venture Brothers is secured and in the bag. The next goal is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Thank you very much. Very generous indeed, Frank Casamento. Thank you very much.
With Moana 2 and Zootopia 2, they were back to drawing.
Oh yeah, I forgot I watched Zootopia 2. I watched Zootopia 2 twice. I forgot. Zootopia 2 was fine. It was just fine. I guess it was so like safe and by the numbers. It's like, okay, well, I mean, we got to learn the founders of Zootopia, and it was like a snake instead of like these snow leopards or whatever, the lynxes. And so at least it wasn't the goat, right? At least it wasn't the goat that founded it, as Wish had hinted at, right? At least that wasn't the case. So canonically, it was not the goat from Wish that founded Zootopia. It was these snake people. A snake did it. The snake family did it. The lynxes stole the credit and blamed the snakes for doing something horrible. And that's kind of how it went. So at least the best thing that Zootopia 2 did was decanonize Wish. That was its greatest achievement.
The big billions once more. And so much.
Also, the horse mayor was kind of funny. I liked him because I think he was voiced by Kronk. It was Kronk.
Once more. And so much like their sister studio, the question remains.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a Moana 2. It's like no one talked about Moana 2. It just sucked that bad. It was so bland. And it's awful. There really nothing is to remember about Moana 2. It really does feel like a TV show Frankenstein into a movie. It really does. So there's no real big moment. And it feels so disjointed.
Can they reverse the trend and release a film that resonates and brings them back to their glory days? Or do they have to rely on franchises and sequels forever? It's obviously too early to really.
Let me put it this way. Moana 2 is so bad that the main bad guy they talk about in the movie doesn't show up until after the credits. So they talk about the main bad guy who guards this area with a major storm and sank this island. That's kind of where they're looking for. They're looking for the sunken island, I think, that's protected by like a major thunderstorm that's magical or whatever. So it was this god who did it. This one god who separated all of humanity because they were becoming too strong. And so he doesn't. So the whole thing is fighting against his influence and fighting against his thing. And like the god comes in and starts like shocking him with lightning bolts or whatever, but doesn't really make an appearance until after the credits. He's the after credits scene. So I guess they're setting up for like a sequel or something. A sequel that no one watched this one. Who's going to watch Moana 3? No one watched this one.
Say, but for now, we can at least dive into the teaser and see what we can find. The teaser begins with Billy walking into her school, and she clearly looks different to everybody else. Her hair's different, her style's different, and she doesn't fit in. People are smirking and gossiping.
To be fair, that's pretty good so she can stand out. Anime does this all the time, but of course they're going to point out because they want like you could be different too. You could be not like other girls also.
Talking about her in the halls, talking about how she doesn't belong here. Her own narration confirms this fact to the audience at the same.
They should just made it Harry Potter. Like who cares who cares if people compare you to it? All right, just make it Harry Potter. It'd been way more fun. And then because that'd be pretty funny if she was unusual, even for like a wizard.
Time. It's a fairly stock standard start, in my opinion, and yet this is something that people for some reason have taken extreme umbrage in. I've seen so many comments ranting about how Disney needs.
You can have one female protagonist who isn't. Oh, sorry, I'm a little clumsy. Yeah, I mean, this guy's based. He's right. How about they have one female protagonist who's like on the ball, who's like who is competent. Maybe it has room to grow, but competent. Like not everyone needs to start off like clumsy and quirky. It doesn't have to be every character.
To let go of the.
I remember. I know it's like she's not the main character. But remember, like in Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, like Esmeralda was awesome. Like not only was she just like the pretty girl, she was also like she uses her tricks and her mysticism and her illusion magic. She's not magic, but like magician's tricks to like outwit the guards and stuff. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. And Quasimodo himself is not necessarily like an idiot. He actually has some really good traits. Like he's pretty confident. Like when he's swinging around Notre Dame, he confidently climbs down with Esmeralda and her goat, like just without a second thought. He's really good at it. So not every main character has to be quirky, clumsy, right, and completely rattled by everything. You can have like some characters who are on the ball, who know what they're doing, who have some cool traits, like actually cool traits, and then they can put them through an adventure. But every Disney protagonist has to be super special, awesome at everything. And here's this difference. Is Quasimodo it makes sense that he's like this because he rings the bells, he's super strong, and what else he's going to do? He's locked in the tower all day, so he's going to swing around Notre Dame to look down at the people because he can't get there, right? It makes sense why he swings around on Notre Dame, because what he's doing is he's trying to experience the outside world. So it all makes sense when you think about it. Like, why is he doing this? Oh, because he wants to spend one day out there with normal people, right? It all makes sense. Why is Esmeralda good like this? Because she's not on her own. She's part of a group of gypsies, and they have like a routine that they practice. And part of her routine is like the mysticism and the magic and the dancing and all that stuff. And she has to survive too, so she knows how to fight. It all makes perfect sense. Like Phoebus is really cool because he's a soldier, he's a veteran of the wars. That all makes sense. It all makes perfect sense. Meanwhile, Disney's is like, oh yeah, she's a female protagonist, and so therefore she has to have all the skills and powers. Doesn't really make sense why she does this. It's just like that's pretty cool, right? They got to show little girls that they too can be cool. And then what else? That you can be cool too, just like Moana or any number of these women. But the thing is, what that does is it makes them all bland and the same. Like they all have the same skill, good at everything. And they try to water it down by having them be clumsy and I'm a bit of a weirdo and quirky. Because look, see, she might be good at stuff, but she's quirky and clumsy, and that's a good balance to all that, right? No, what that is a classic Mary Sue setup. A classic Mary Sue setup. Okay, being quirky and clumsy is not a balance. Okay, it's clumsy specifically is probably one of the most common Mary Sue flaws they can come up with, because it's not actually a flaw. It's like, it's kind of cute. Like it's okay for a girl to be careless and clumsy. It makes them a little more cute. So it's a flaw that enhances the girl in a man's eyes. Like, oh, that's cute and clumsy. Right? It's how it works. So when they kind of come out with the same protagonist who's good at everything, but she's a little quirky and weird, it's a Mary Sue. You just have a Mary Sue. That's it. It's a hands down rubber stamp Disney Sue. That's basically it. And it makes them all boilerplate, instead of like, okay, why is he strong? Because he rings the bells. How come he can like swing around Notre Dame? Because he wants to look out into the people and covet what he cannot have, right? So he looks down at all these people because he has to. As close as he can ever get to being living a normal life. Why is it that Ray has all these powers? Because this cuz. It gets all that. The thing is, you can have characters with skills. You can have a character with skills and power sets, but at the end, when I as a viewer ask the question why, there has to be an answer. And you don't have to like explain it to me in a therapy session. It makes sense character wise. Right? So like Belle. She can read. She has all this knowledge. She loves these stories, and she falls in love with the beast because she loves these stories. Like, just she knows the story of it's a beast on the outside, but it could be a monster, a monster on the outside, man on the inside. It could definitely be that case. So she's into stories, and so she wants to experience these things, and so that's why she covets the world outside. And it's kind of like it kind of feels like Disney Princess syndrome, because it is like I have enough of this provincial town. But the reason why that she feels that way, because one, her father is insane, and second of all is because she's seen and read all these books that she wants to experience the world outside her little village. And yeah, she does. But it's like you understand why she has these wants and needs. You understand why the character of Belle doesn't want the things that she does. She does the things she does. She wants things she does. All that stuff. And why she rejects Gaston, because Gaston means like, okay, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna get tied down. If I get tied down here, then I'm never going to experience the world outside this village. And that's kind of where her mindset is. Like every single good character can come with a skill set that's pretty impressive, even, but you can see where it comes from because of their character. Like I like John Wick, so I know a lot of information about the movie, even the stuff that's not in the movie. Like one of the things they're going to do in the original movie, John Wick 1, was they're going to have him like his job or his hobby is restoring books. I don't know how people know that, but John Wick's hobby outside of killing people, like just when he starts being an assassin, his hobby was restoring books. So and the reason why they chose that hobby for him was because it shows how meticulous he is, how calculating he is, how like everything he does is just by habit, by second nature, is that he's cold, calculating. He plans like 8 moves ahead. So he would restore books, and that was the idea, to show his mindset, because he's kind of like, I guess, autistic or something. He's kind of like that, or I guess very introverted, very like very at the very least introverted, if not autistic. So that's how that goes with John Wick. All right. So going by his character, we can kind of see why he would be probably better than most, because he is a man of focus. We can see that in his character. He's a man of focus. He isn't just like, train. He trains relentlessly. It's kind of like that one guy from Scrubs, the character played by Michael J. Fox, who has like this OCD that made him like practice things over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where he's just almost a god in terms of being a doctor. Like can do like complex surgeries in minutes. He can diagnose pretty much anything in seconds. But the drawback is that he has OCD. So the same thing that made him a super doctor also tortures him, because like he's just stuck washing his hands for hours and he can't stop. He's major like life crippling OCD. So on one hand, he has like major OCD. So he trains a lot. He works through things over and over and over again, and like, pretty much memorizes everything because he has to. On the other hand, he has major OCD, which causes him to like just do things repetitively to the point where it really seriously impacts his life. Okay. So it's the skill set is fine. You can have a character with good skills, but it has to come from the character themselves. You have to know who this character is, and the character explains, like the character of the character explains why the character has these characteristics. It's kind of how that goes, right? But every Disney Sue is boilerplate. It's all the same thing. It's all the same quirky personality, and there's all the same good at everything. It's a Megalithon. Also, they're all equally asexual. There's just no men allowed. Can't have a boyfriend, can't have a husband. All right, can't have that because I guess modern day writers from Disney are just under the delusion that girls do not want romance. Megalithon. It's the $20 super chat. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Let me see. Holy shit! Holy shit. Thank you very much. Megalithon. Careful what you wish for, LD. Technically, May from Turning Red was competent. Yeah, I had no idea deal to what made me want to. Yeah, a lot of people didn't. I don't think people did. Like this kind of went under the radar. Think I enjoyed the first one, but maybe I just liked Rock Maui, and that was the best part of the movie. Was what else can I say except you're welcome? That's a good song, and Maui is awesome in both movies. Like Maui is the best part of Moana 2. Maui is the best part of Moana 1. It really should have been a movie about Maui. Like imagine like a movie about Maui and all of his adventures. That'd be pretty awesome. And then Moana 2 has them going up against a lightning god or a thunder god or something like that. Like, oh, is this Zeus? That'd be pretty awesome. Like, what if like we had like a Moana or Maui 1? The first Maui movie is about some epic adventure, and it's just about him, right? And he gets over the adventure, he wins, and Moana is maybe the sidekick, maybe, and love interest, obviously. And then Maui 2, is hypothetical, would be about Maui beating Hercules. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool. Like these two bros teaming up to tackle a giant entity or something like that. It would be Disney's Hercules, right? It would be Disney's Hercules. So it would be that Disney continuity. So Zeus would be a good guy. and Poseidon would be this fun-loving uncle. That'd be pretty funny, I would think. And I guess Hades is still like in the underworld, like swirling around the pool of the dead, that sort of thing. But yeah, in Turning Red, she is competent, but it's a standard boilerplate good at everything. She's like good at everything because her mom kind of pushed her to be that way, I guess. But we don't really see the pain. We just kind of see or the embarrassment, like, oh, I want to do this, but my mom won't let me. That's kind of the main focus. It's like she's effortlessly good at everything in the beginning. And it's all about the emotional drive between her and her mom. And at the end, it's like the mom is wrong and she's right. I'm 13, mom. My panda, my choice. It's like, what the hell is this movie? What do you mean 13? Therefore, your panda, your choice. Like, you're 13. Shut up and go to your room. All right, that's kind of where it is. So, yeah, it's like she's being pushed to do all these things because her mom said so, and she respects her mom, I guess. But then it's like, oh, mom has to let her be more free. It would have been a fine compromise. It was like, okay, you can do a couple of fun things. You can go to a concert, right? But it's like, okay, well, you can just whore yourself out, I guess. You can come out. You can no rules, either no rules or all rules. Like if you have rules at all, it's tyranny. But no rules, much better. He might make his own toilet, but I don't know because he's supposed to be a man of focus. And one of the things they're going to do is make him restore books and like a bunch of other stuff. In fact, the first John Wick movie was going to be like like it almost felt like a foreign film. It was this an art house foreign film because like most of the big chunk of the first movie was going to be about him strolling around his house all sad. But they knew this was a mistake and stupid because after the first few screenings. What's funny is if you watch, okay, a lot of the information I get is from the documentary Wick is Pain, which I've seen like 3 times. It's really funny because after their first viewing, everyone was like, "Oh, it was fine. Look at you, you made a movie," which was not the reaction they were going for after all this hell because they went through absolute hell to make this movie. Absolute hell. So it does show you how important the editing is because like what they did after that was they go back to the editing, they go back to the editor's room and they cut it up again, and this time they got it right. So they learned the hard lesson that in an action movie you kind of have to get to the action. Lo and behold, surprise, surprise, which is exactly what I keep saying. Like, what's with all this crap? Oh, here's a Godzilla movie, but 95% of the movie is about human drama and people crying and talking about, oh, you never hugged me as a kid, or man, I hope we can get back together after all this, that sort of stuff. Like I don't do, yeah, okay, maybe that enhances things a little bit, but it's like stop it, like stop making it so much of the focus. Okay, we need more. We're here for the monster fights. Okay, and Chad Zielinski and Keanu Reeves learned that, okay, people are here for the gunfights. Let's get to the gunfights. And so we have like a little short segment of the beginning where, John Wick is like, lonely. Then he gets the dog and then, they have a day out and then boom, here come the Russians. It happens fairly quickly. All right. Everything's set up. Helen's dead. They had the funeral. We have him moping around. We have him with a dog with a sign of hope. And boom, the Russians come in, they steal his car and they kill his dog. Right. And then he's on a rampage of revenge. So they came up with the idea that, okay, we can have a little bit of this moping around stuff to set things up. We got to get to the action. The action has to be the core center of this movie. But anyway, John Wick, on the other hand, is he is a man of focus. So he focuses on all his training. And then also he's older. He's in his 50s. So he has like not only a legacy, but decades of experience under his belt. So we can understand why he's so good, like right off the bat. Movie-wise, I mean. It's a hello, Dave Musman says, Joss Whedon got it. He's already suffered through enough, so I'll let him pass for now. As the action punk says, most modern points of entertainment nearly at every point has the main character criticizing or generally questioning the parental figures in entertainment nowadays, but no natural conversation. Yeah, they don't know how to write natural conversation. Have you seen their dialogue? It's awful. It's Twitter dialogue. It really is Twitter dialogue. They don't go from like action reaction. They kind of just ask questions to questions. Or they'll just go to another topic and as if they're so insightful, they're zeroing in on the point.
adorkable girl stereotype or the not like other girls vibe and how it's cliche
Yeah, that's just true. Stop it.
and played
All boilerplate the same.
out, but I just don't get the issue. People have always been drawn to outsiders in film, characters that don't fit the mold of what's
Yeah, but they're uniquely outsider. They're all unique. All right, all these female Disney protagonists are literally all the same. Like they're just all the same character. They're all the same level of quirky, or different or level. They're all the same quirky personality, the same face. They're all the same in some way. Right? They're just the same character. They're all good at everything. It's like it's not people are not making it up that they all feel the same because they are. They don't really go into the idea of differentiating between characters that much. It's like, okay, this one has purple hair. This is Asha with purple hair. This is Asha with a different racial background. This is Mexican Asha with from Encanto. It's like a different Mexican, I guess. She's Spanish. I think Asha is Spanish, and Maribel or whatever her name is Mexican. But otherwise, pretty much the same.
Desired for the world they live in and thus struggle to find their feet. This is something you see so much of so often because, like I said, people have always been drawn to these sorts of characters either because they're interesting.
But you show Superman and Elphaba. Both these characters are unique in character and personality. These Disney female protagonists are all the same. It's just the same character. They kind of rubber stamp on everything.
Or because you can more easily sympathize with somebody who struggles.
This is unique. She's also unique. The girls from the main girl, especially from Keep Up Demon Hunters, very unique.
Takes
why it was good.
Spider-Man, a bullied dork turned superhero who, despite being a truly good person, is constantly slandered by the media and made out.
Yeah, but this doesn't matter because these are all different. These are good characters. These are all unique. They have unique characteristics, and all their powers and personality traits come from that character. The boilerplate rubber stamp Mary Sue Disney character is standardized good at everything because for feminism purposes, they have to be good at everything. It doesn't stem from their character.
To be something he's not. Captain America, a little weakling with a big heart before he gets super serum and becomes something more. Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon is not like other.
It's kind of like it's like the same scenario. Like he's also a weakling who learns how to come into his own, but a little bit different. Where Steve Rogers gained muscles and was able to finally have a body fit his noble personality. Hiccup in this movie is like he doesn't really train or become a traditionally like a masculine man, but what does happen is he becomes like a really good dragon trainer. Like he connects with a real life dragon really well, and so he's able to have this insight and a connection that really kind of pays off in the end. Right, so. They have like a very similar outing, like it's very similar start point. They're like even Spider-Man's weak, Steve Rogers is weak, Hiccup is weak, but they all gain strength in their own unique character-centric way, right? They do. What is one female character from Disney recently where they start off this way? Right, they all start off already powerful and awesome, and it's like I got to show the world how awesome I already am. They just start off a little bit quirky, and the thing is, they don't really lose it because it's not really a flaw. Like quirky, clumsy, it's supposed to be seen as endearing, not as a flaw. So they don't really get rid of that part of the personality.
Vikings. Po from Kung Fu Panda is not like other Kung Fu practitioners. They're both presented as outsiders to their society, and they face social ostracization before they find their place and prove themselves worthy. Hell, what about Harry Potter? The bullied boy who discovered he was a wizard, and despite his fame, still ends up being bullied and slandered numerous times throughout the story. All of these characters showcase that iconic and popular characters are often...
And see, Fido Nisha on Rumble Rant says, "Hey LD, oh, I dare you then." You mean like the whole thing with the door monster? We'll see. I do have to go back and find it, but I assume that's what you meant. As a 5 Rumble Rants, by the way, let me add that to the tally.
Outcasts in some way because it gives them a journey for their character arc whilst giving you catharsis when they finally overcome the obstacle. I don't really see what there is to complain about in that respect. Shrek's another one that's really topical, really. A lot of these characters also actively choose to shun the norm and do their own thing despite it not making them popular.
It's not the point. It's not the point that, oh, she's an outsider, that's why we dislike her. The point is they're all, you even read the tweets. Like none of these little tweets over here were like, oh yeah, she's an outsider. I hate that. All these tweets are like, no, they're all quirky, the same personality. They didn't say that they're all outsiders. They said they're all quirky, clumsy. Oh, I'm not like other girls' personality. And that's true. You're not tackling that assertion by saying, oh, look, here's other outsiders. She could totally not be an outsider, by the way, and still have his personality and still be like rubber stamped, Mary Sue, Disney Sue character. It's definitely the case. Hold on, here we go, chat. So we are now at 437. If we get $13 more, chat, $13 more, we'll jump to the real fake wizards video. Right to it. Let's jump right to it. It's a waiting or whatever. So we want to skip this video, which still has like another 10 minutes to go. $13 more and boom, right to fake real wizard.
And it is usually very, very compelling. But then again, the vast majority.
The idea of like a Willy Wonka movie, like showing his origins, would have been cool. It would have been cool. But it was made today. And so I know it wouldn't have been. I know the movie is going to be super duper quirky and cringe. I really cringe.
But then again, the vast majority of the characters I mentioned are male. And I do feel like there's a double standard that comes into play here. Quirky male characters that break molds and are different.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. No, you missed the point, and you zeroed in on the point you wanted to make, which is, oh, everyone's sexist towards women. Oh, shut up. God, sit down. That you missed the point so hard. You should be working for CBR.
Different to the norm, interesting and dynamic. Quirky female characters that break molds and are different to the.
Oh yeah, the one that everyone likes. That's your example. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to see if I can salvage something out of today. Have a great day, LD in chat. Have a great day to you, Shadow Tronics. Fantastic. Let's see. Lemon says people probably shouldn't make videos when they don't understand the argument. Yeah, this is like he presented the argument and then argued a different one. Why? What the hell? You presented the argument. Like the literal argument was, they're all the same. And you're arguing that, oh, everyone likes outsiders. Like, what? That's not the argument being made here.
Norm, annoying and overplayed. However,
yeah, because everyone hated Frozen. Look, you remember how much everyone hated the personalities of Anna and Elsa. Remember how everyone hated those characters and how it didn't make that much money. Like, no, people liked the movie. People liked the characters. I mean, it was not that great of a movie. It skyrocketed. People like this movie. People like Elsa and Anna. Although they are kind of ruined in Once Upon a Time, like this for girl power purposes. Like it turns out that Anna, Elsa's sister, taught Prince Charming how to fight. And Prince Charming, by the way, in Once Upon a Time, is like the greatest swordsman who has ever lived. So he was able to become the greatest swordsman who ever lived by having a few days training with Anna. That's how good she is at all this.
However, if they make her the coolest kid in school who wears normal, not out of the ordinary clothes and has no issues at home, and then manifests her powers, I have to ask you, what about that story is going to draw people in? Virtues need to be offset for a compelling character with narrative depth, and so for a kid's film, which is what Hexed is at the end of the day, it is far easier to make her relatable with issues that a lot of younger viewers.
Yeah, that part isn't, like, her being a little bit different is not the issue. That's not the issue. Her being the same is the issue. And what I mean by that is she's the same as every other rubber stamped female character from Disney. It's all the same crap. It's all the same crap. They don't really need to even give her a character. It's like the same traits, just packaged a little bit differently. It's like you get like a bundle, like a handful of traits that a female protagonist is supposed to have, and you just hit the randomizer, and boom, you get a new protagonist for a new female character in a new Disney movie. Dow Generation, why are you showing Anna? She was literally isolated by the world like her sister, but unlike Elsa, which wanted isolation, literally sang for it, Anna wanted to meet people, and she wanted to get out of the palace. And so she's very naive. She does have some quirks to her, but she's also it's also understandable like why she would be so socially inept, because she's been trapped in her palace the entire time. She's been trapped with Elsa, but Elsa's been like locked in a room for like 10 years out of sheer guilt. So yeah, both those sisters are kind of weird, socially awkward. It could definitely happen, basically like a Nazula and a Zuko, like where they are competent in some ways, but they're both very socially awkward. It's the action books. I'd say the best way to let a character navigate the beginning of the negative character arc, go down a more positive direction, is have them go down a road back to zero, so they can have a fresh start. Yeah, it's just, it all whittles down to temptation. Like this, what the road that leads there, the road that leads away from there. Like how do they deal with that? So, they can fail, but then the story can be about them redeeming themselves, something like that. It's a core part of the story is how do they tackle temptation, how they tackle when they're being given or handed everything they want. But the thing is, in order to have that, you have to know the character. You have to give them a character. If you, for one, to have a goal, and two, so that they can believably conquer that goal. Character-wise, like, oh yeah, that's how that person would do it. That's how Quasimodo would defeat Frollo. Obviously, Quasimodo was very submissive to his master Frollo, and then he was able to overcome that because of his newfound friendship with Esmeralda and Phoebus.
Are going to encounter in their lives. Not fitting in with their peer group, struggles with parents, issues at school. Are people seriously only just realizing this sort of thing is the bread and butter of so many friends?
No, because that's this is retarded. You missed the point entirely, either by accident or purposefully. You're arguing something completely different. Not one tweet said, "Oh yeah, they're all outsiders," or "I'm so sad something is happening." Like no one said that. As specific as LD, Fresh Chat, praise be to Space King. Sorry I'm late. Workers' Nightmare. I missed the adult characters were competent. Me too. Especially with the men, you can have a competent man in a character's life without overshadowing the character. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi did. I mean, he was the mentor, but then the reins were let go when he died, and Luke Skywalker was able to shine by the end. You can't have clever characters if everyone is an idiot. By the way, Symbiote, we covered your super chat earlier, so you have been covered. You have been covered, and thank you very much, Symbiote, for you once again for your generosity yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't address it live, but it has been counted, tallied, and answered. Thank you very much, Symbiote, once again. Sarah Trunks says, modern Disney movies are Otome RPGs. Changed my mind.
Franchises that deal with protagonists of this age. Another complaint I've seen a lot of that really fits into this opening segment is that people are also up in arms about
it looks generic. It does. Is this generic Disney slop?
About how Disney's in-house style now feels generic.
Yeah, because it's not like a movie with a little twist on the style. It's just the same style. Like if she ran to like Moana in school, I'd be like, okay, well that makes sense. It feels like it's all the same movie, all the same universe.
They want them to explore and evolve, but at the same time, why is this even an issue? A lot of the same people crying about how generic this teaser looks, and
because it looks so bland. It's not even imaginative. Like if someone compared Hexed to another movie that's coming out, it's kind of the same premise, and the other movie is so much more dynamic, so much better. It's so much better. Tau Generations LD, based on your recent Ray vid, do you think that Hex would have more potential if protagonist was a teen boy? Going by the premise I pushed in that video, yes, because then he would be allowed personality. He'd be allowed to run into issues and to overcome conflicts and stuff. He would be allowed to suffer. He'd be allowed to experience drawbacks. He would be allowed to be silly. He would allowed to have flaws. Definitely allowed to have flaws. So yeah, if this was a teen boy going through all this, then yeah, it would be way more interesting because they would give him a personality. They would give him flaws. They would give him troubles that he would have to overcome. They would basically be writing a traditional story because they don't care. All right, they're not in the business of we need to give heroes to young boys. They don't do that. So they're more than willing to give men silly traits and make them suffer and all that stuff. So, yeah, if this was a teen boy, it would be about her. It'd be about the guy in Hexed, experiencing rampant bullying, and instead of like everyone staring at her, which is the extent of bullying in one of these Disney feminist movies, right? Because like in Turning Red, They're trying to push the idea that, oh, she's going through this insane level of embarrassment. But if you watch the movie, she really doesn't. It's all from her own mind because, dude, she gets like her mom comes to school with tampons, is yelling her name. It's so embarrassing, but no one mentions it. No one mentions it. Like that instance would result in like the entire school just mocking her. At least some bullies would mock her relentlessly for that, along with her mom dragging Mei Mei to the store to yell at the guy for tempting her little girl. Remember that? She's drawing like these weird, like, I think they're like sex cartoons that she just drew with herself and some guy at the convenience store, and her mom found him. Is like, what the hell is this? And she goes and she drags Mei Mei with her to go yell at him. Like that would also be a moment of where the school mocks her. And you know what? If the entire school had mocked her for those instances and she became like a big joke, okay, I can be on her side a little bit more. Like I can understand why she has so much vitriol to her mom against her mom, but nothing happened. Like she was like Mei Mei received no consequences other than consequences from her own mind. Like she should, but the thing is, she should have received consequences. Like she should have been bullied. She should have been like mocked relentlessly by the school for both of these incidents. But she doesn't. It's just kind of forgotten about, and no one cares. Like no one ever brings it up really, and if they do, it's not made a big issue. Like if she was constantly, like, every time she goes to school and she's constantly being mocked, constantly being harassed, made fun of, made the butt of every joke in the entire school because of her mom's antics. Okay, because she doesn't really have an outlet, she doesn't have an escape. It's the entire school kind of like just constantly, relentlessly dogging on her. But that's what the movie gives us. Nobody cares. Like nobody cares in the movie. Like one bully might mock her a little bit, and then he gets like punched in the face, and no one cares. That's fine. The time has passed. But that's it. So the vitriol doesn't really seem like it's earned. Like nobody cares. She's not getting relentlessly hounded at school or anything like that. So yeah, if it was a teen boy, it was Turning Red was about a boy, it would be relentless. Relentless. And I know this because this happens to Harry Potter. Harry Potter is the boy who lived, like the star of the Wizarding World, but still, like random things happen to him. And by the way, by the time we get to the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter is just so used to being mocked and ridiculed and just relentlessly teased that he just makes jokes about it now. It's kind of one of the differences between Harry and Ron in that movie, in that book, because Ron joins the Quidditch team, right? And Ron is like he's finally getting a little bit of fame. There's a little bit of fame, and with that fame comes ridicule, right? It comes jibes and jabs, especially by your enemies, your opponents. And so they're teasing Harry, and Harry's like he like laughs it off and makes jokes because he's used to it by now. But Ron he becomes like a lolcow. He kind of just rises to every provocation. All right, so it's a little bit different here. It's a little bit different. Like it's something that my point is Harry Potter. It was written by a woman, but even then, Harry Potter was a guy and was subject to relentless ridicule. Relentless ridicule, despite his station, despite the fact that everyone thinks he's a hero who destroyed Voldemort. Relentless ridicule, relentless campaigns against him by the Ministry of Magic and stuff. Like it's insane. It's crazy. So if Mei Mei was a teen boy, if Hexed started a teen boy, there would be consequences. There would be actual problems they would have to undergo. They would have to actually have a story instead of it being, oh, I'm personally embarrassed, so therefore that's it. Like this, the whole thing is like she's walking in and everyone's staring at her. Okay, isn't that the point? Like you wouldn't have purple hair if you didn't want people staring at you, right? So a boy would go in there and everyone like laugh at him, point at him, all that stuff. There's like relentless mockery, and undergo all of that stuff. But because a girl, we don't really get that, do we? Not really. So would Turning Red and Hexed, probably just going by a guess, be more interesting if they were written by men, if they're written as men instead of girls? Yes. Going by today's the methods of today's writing, yes, they would be. because they would be allowed to be characters and they'd be allowed to encounter actual conflict. And see, Palestine looks fine. Superchats says, I looked more out there in school than this main character. Wore multiple necklaces and fishnet gloves every day. I didn't know did they make those? I didn't know they made fishnet gloves every day and no one cared. Yeah. So it's like, okay, but here they're trying to, like, you know, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Like, they want to make her like a character who stands out. Like, she's weird even among her peers, but also she doesn't get that much ridicule. It's just kind of like, okay, well, it's not that harsh. It's kind of like they want her to be isolated because she's different, but also there's no like relentless bullying because of that reason. You remember Hocus Pocus, also by Disney? The main character is made fun of not because he's a dork or anything like that. Well, kind of, but it's not because he's like a goth dude or has purple hair. It's because he's from California, which, you know, based. But here's the thing: that like there's so many instances where it's like you can have a character be made fun of for anything. So this guy is from California, and that's why he's being bullied in school. And the reason why that is because he's a guy. You know, they would allow that today because the main character in Hocus Pocus is a guy, and therefore is allowed to be ridiculed, mocked, and given flaws and make mistakes because he makes a big mistake. He lights that the black flame candle and releases the sisters in the first place. Do you think they would allow that to happen? I don't know. I think does it happen in Hocus Pocus 2? I don't know. I guess who watches that? But anyway.
How it looks somewhat AI Slop-esque, are probably the same people sobbing into their keyboards about how Pixar style changed and became bean mouth and how it's never the same, yada yada yada. I have no issue.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? It's horrendous. You should complain that it's bean mouth now. It looks awful. It's CalArts crap.
With studios experimenting with different styles, but I also see nothing wrong with something looking familiar and you being able to immediately tell what studio it's from. Do people call Aardman generic? I really feel that Disney's up against it in this regard, because of course they'll look generic because they're the industry leader and they have been for years. It's obvious they're going to look like AI.
Studio Ghibli has, like, you can tell it's from Studio Ghibli, but each movie has its own purpose, its own identity to it. And that's kind of what happens when you care. Disney does not care. They just want to pump out crap. And that's about it. That's why everything looks so much the same.
Because I guarantee a lot of AI's trained off their style or of artwork that replicates their style. It's just a strange complaint to me. Back to it, Bill.
It's not strange. It's only a complaint now because people are recognizing these patterns. And I mean, defending these movies is not going to get people in the seats. It's not. No one's going to watch this video and go, you know what? That's right. I shouldn't believe my lying eyes. I shouldn't. You know what? I should go watch this bland slop. Obviously, I'm in the wrong. And in the near decade of Disney pumping out slop after slop after slop movie, was definitely not an indicator that this one will also be slop. That's why people are complaining about it, because this style has been almost irreparably hooked to slop. That this is the slop style. All right, that's why people hate it, because if I see that, it's not like I see the style and I see Disney. Like if I see the Ghibli movie style, I look, oh, Ghibli, because Ghibli pumps out good movies. It comes out with good movies, like really artistically well done movies. So I associate that style with perfection. I associate that style with quality. I see this style, it's slop. Disney has pumped out so much slop in this style that people are like, oh, this is slop. This is generic slop. Because that's kind of what this style has been connected to now. Because this style has been used to pump out Disney quirk slop for a decade. And that's why people are complaining about it. It's not because, oh, they're just a standard, industry standard. And that how can you be angry that they have a unique art style? Like, we're not angry they have a unique art style. We're upset because this art style has become so ingrained in our brains that we just see it and say, oh, slop. It's not us. Stop blaming the messenger. Blame Disney. Disney are the people that made this crap. They are the ones that made the style and used it to create endless hordes of slop. It's their fault. Not our fault. We're just the hapless customer. It's their fault. If you want to change this, have Disney change either their writing or their style and their writing. But both instances, they have to change their writing because their writing is their actual slop. It's just that this is the form of the destructor, right? This style is the form of the destructor. We see this art style, it signals slop just instinctively. It's like learning. There's a growl nearby. I should probably get out of here because I'm being stalked by a killer tiger. It's like it's an instinct. We have these feelings before we even see it, before we even know it, before we've seen the movie. We know going by the style that it's going to be baseless, soulless crap. Because that's what Disney has ingrained into us with this style for a decade.
Lily finds herself in trouble with her principal and seems to be working on something in the toilet, desperately trying to finish it before she gets in trouble. I have to say, this was a deeply relatable scene. Procrastinating homework and assignments until the absolute last possible moment gave me a shiver down my spine. Just
really bending over backwards to defend this crap. It's not that great of a movie. It's not that. It wasn't like this insane. It's not this insane level story or anything. Like what's with this defense? This is dumb. Greg 90 says something like that happened with the Hocus Pocus sequel book. With the Ouija board, the main character's daughter used to accidentally summon the witches back. I think there's something they kind of did the same thing, something like that. I think in the sequel, I think they just relit the black flame candle or something. I read a synopsis on it. Let's see. Come on.
Remembering all of that. It's like when you wake up from sleeping, knowing you have an assignment, exam, or even worse, a speech in front of class to prepare for, only to remember that you're now an adult and you don't have to worry about that sort of thing ever again. Time may march on, but the trauma never fades. Here is where we begin to see her manifest her.
Yeah, I had those dreams too, but like, I still say it's dumb. I still find it stupid and retarded. It's so generic. Have you seen this? I wish I could find that one tweet that kind of compares the two.
Own powers. Having dropped her phone onto the toilet floor, which was pretty disgusting, not gonna lie, she tries to reach for it, only for her bracelet to get snagged and ripped, and when she tries to grab that in turn, she's able to summon it with her magical powers. This in turn leads to her accidentally blasting her principal in the face with levitating rubbish, which of course, gets her expelled from the school. She'd clearly had issues with him before, as his dialogue as he screams through the door of the bathroom is extremely confrontational. He's calling her a pain in the ass and demanding she come out there to see him. So she gets expelled, and this causes issues with her mum, but it seems the more pressing concern for her is her newly discovered magical abilities. Fair enough as well. Getting expelled is a big deal, but discovering you're magical, probably a whole different ballgame. She tries to activate her powers again and decides
she's just magical.
And for her is her newly discovered magical abilities.
She's just magical. What'd you just say? Didn't you say earlier that, it'd be boring if she just kind of like discovered she was magical? Well, she just discovered that she's magical. You know what? I gave this trailer too much credit. I remember seeing the trailer, but I don't remember like listening to it. But now that you break it down, that is stupid. It's really dumb. Because I thought like, okay, she's different. Maybe she practices witchcraft or something like that, or something like that at home. And that's why she's a little bit different. It would fit her personality. But of course, we can't do that. We can't have her a technique or a trait of hers lead to her powers. It has to be just granted to her because she's an ubermensch and she's just born awesome. All right, fantastic. That's a better way to go. And you said this was boring. You said this scenario would be boring. How come she just gets powers? Yeah, it's boring. You're right. What do you mean she just has powers now?
Fair enough as well. Getting expelled is a big deal, but discovering you're magical, probably a whole different ballgame. She tries to activate her powers again and decides
Harry Potter gets a few powers, but it's not a lot. It's just kind of like something that happens by accident. But the thing is, he's like born of a wizard. He's born of a pureblood wizard and a Muggle wizard, I guess. And then he's sent off to wizard school. That's it. Why just make that? I feel like you want to make Harry Potter where the main character is a girl. Just make that.
That she's simply insane. Also, side note, but what do we think the reason for her powers activating was? Is it because the bracelet came off her wrist? Could that be something that's been keeping her power?
It's Mary Sue. Her powers activated because she's a Mary Sue. She's a Quirk Slop Mary Sue.
Powers in check. She loses it in the bathroom and her powers activate, and then in the car with her mum, she's wearing it again, I'm pretty sure. This is followed with her in her bedroom and she's taken it off again.
By the way, chat, $8. We go right to the real fake wizard. $8 more. Almost there, chat. Almost there.
And what do you know? Her powers have come back in a very big way, and she gets sucked into a new magical world. How long do we reckon this part of the film even takes? 10 minutes? 15? It doesn't feel like you need all that much time in the real world to sell the story.
It's going to take an hour. That's my guess.
Maybe there's a little bit of narration at the start where Billy can mention
either it's going to take an hour or it's going to take like no time at all, and we're just not going to get any character from her. It's just like, here's a moment where she's quirky, and that's it. Like, oh, she's been quirky again. Okay.
She doesn't fit in. We need a bit of time for Billy to discover she has powers, and then of course she has to get expelled and have an extended conversation with her mum, where they both lay out their grievances and nothing's resolved at all. Then we need a little bit more time for her to brood and try to activate her powers before she's sucked into the world. You can probably get that done within 15 to 20 minutes, and you wouldn't want to linger any longer than that. Pretty much all of their movies go for about an hour and 40 minutes, give or take 5. You wouldn't want to use up a huge chunk of the story on something that is essentially a prologue. You want to get into the proper narrative and head over to the magical world of Hex. I think now is as good a time as any to mention a lot of the discourse that has surrounded this part of the trailer. That Hex is an extreme ripoff.
And see, Megalithon, thanks to the fighters, says it's in Warcraft LD. Hex magic uses the souls of the dead as power source, an offshoot of Fel magic, so you know the implications. Yeah. The souls of the dead come into play a lot in Warcraft, like a ton. Like I remember one of my favorite missions in Warcraft 3 was actually a mission you get in the Frozen Throne expansion pack, where you go through the temple of Sargeras, or the tomb of Sargeras. I thought that was an awesome mission. That was a really cool mission because you get to like look at the path Gul'dan and his guys took, his warlocks took, as trying to like explore the tomb of Sargeras. That's pretty awesome. Also, by the way, I do know now that they just annihilated the lore of Warcraft for the sake of aesthetics. Because before the dark times, before the modern day Warcraft setting, right? Sargeras was a champion. Sargeras was like the guardian who fought demons, who fought the endless demon hordes. Sargeras turned evil because of the Eldar and stuff like that. Basically, the Draenei, those were the original demons. And so they were the ones that eventually ended up corrupting Sargeras. Now it's the other way around. Now it's like Sargeras was the bad guy who corrupted the Draenei. Because, of course, you can't have the one of the characters one of the races of the Alliance be, I guess, naturally evil. But Sargeras used to be the champion who fought the Endless Burning Legion, and then they switched it up. But it was such a crazy and interesting saga because it kind of mirrored what happened to Arthas. Like Arthas was supposed to be the champion of his people, and then he got corrupted. Same thing that happened to Sargeras. Sargeras is basically Lucifer. He was like golden and glorious, and he got corrupted and became like this molten skinned monstrosity. And so he became like a really big, gigantic leader, champion of the Burning Legion. And eventually he got chained up and I guess killed or so. I forgot exactly what happened. But yeah, the thing is the Sargeras was a thing all the way back. And I'm pretty sure Warcraft 2. I could swear it was Warcraft 2 where Sargeras was a thing. And that's kind of where Gul'dan sort of got all of his stuff. Like Gul'dan with the Stormreaver clan kind of was a manipulating force that was not technically with the Horde. He was with the Horde as long as the Horde was doing his, as long as their goals were aligned, right? And so, but there's like, I know there was some sort of like, there was a mission where he had to go after the Stormreaver clan because they broke away. And so he had to go after Gul'dan, and Gul'dan was like going in there and doing all these crazy things to the point where just his bones were just magical artifacts, right? So that's why the Skull of Gul'dan was a huge thing. The Skull of Gul'dan was an artifact in Warcraft 2 at one point, pretty sure. I think it was like I think it might have been the expansion of Warcraft 2, but the Skull of Gul'dan was like a legacy, iconic artifact in Warcraft lore. Because he was like dealing with Sargeras and stuff like that. Because he got his demonic forms and knowledge from Sargeras. And the Burning Legion. Like they later changed like Manaroth. Like Manaroth was like this guy who spilled his blood and changed the orcs. Like I don't think that was the case, but it was fine. It wasn't that bad of a big of a deal because okay, maybe Sargeras ordered him to, but that was it. But Yeah, the Souls of the Dead were a huge thing and are, I guess, still are a huge thing in Warcraft. And it led to one of my favorite missions. That's kind of what my point is. Because we get to follow the trail of Gul'dan and him exploring the Tomb of Sargeras, and it's awesome. It's cool. It's really cool. Warcraft 3 is peak. It is absolute peak. Warcraft 2 was awesome. Warcraft 1 I liked a lot. Warcraft 2 better. Warcraft 3 peak. Warcraft, and then it all fell down. It all fell down, unfortunately. But thank you very much, Megathon. Appreciate it.
Of the Owl House, but without the LGBT elements which Disney didn't think fit its branding. Now, yes, I suppose there are some similarities with it, given they're a very similar genre. Magical girl taken to a magical land, has a difficult relationship with her mum, and was an outsider at school. As we addressed before, the latter two were just common tropes.
It's like exactly the same. Okay. Wow, it is. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about Owl House, but yeah, it sounds pretty much a copy paste version of Owl House
in the media, and so we're left with magical girl, magical portal to a secret magical world. Okay, I get it. There are similarities, but the Owl House doesn't feature the mum all that much, right? I think this film will, simply based on the original synopsis.
By the way, chat, $4 more, and we'll skip this video and go right to Real Fake Wizard.
And that even when they changed it to Billy, they kept the parent-child dynamic front and center. Clearly, the mum is going to come to the world to try to find her daughter, and I think it's probably going to be from this magical world and took her daughter away from it to hide in the mundane one long ago for a reason that's going to be explained within the movie. I think the only reason this discourse that it's an Owl House ripoff even exists is because that's what the online fans have decided. I guarantee the comparisons it'll draw come release from casuals or general reviewers are to Harry Potter.
I didn't really think of Owl House. Yeah, Harry Potter was something that kind of screamed at me more than Owl House, because I haven't really seen Owl House. But yeah, Harry Potter. It's like Harry Potter, sort of. It's not really a magical school. If it was a magical school, it'd be Harry Potter.
Because it's vastly more popular than either will ever be, and I guarantee it has overlap in genre and substance, even if just a little bit. Because here's the reality. The Owl House debuted in 2020. By this stage, very little is completely fresh, and thousands of years of human storytelling have seen most things occur on page or screen in one way or another. So yes, there is a similarity here, but like I said, you see that in so many different genres. Superheroes can often have very similar plot beats for their origin and background, and yet the story and characters end up feeling so different. For instance,
aha! There it is. Yes, a lot of superhero stories are very similar in premise, but they're all different. Now that's the thing you're missing here, is that the people are not complaining that it's about an outsider. They're complaining that it's not different. They're complaining that it's all the same. It's all the same character, all the same quirky personality, all the same. They're really good at whatever they are, whatever they have. Megalithon, thanks for the additional 10 down the super chat. Thank you much, Megalithon. Very generous. Let me see. Megalodon says, you're in my wheelhouse now. Originally, it was just drinking demon blood that corrupted the orcs. In the Warcraft 3, they put a name demon type to the pit lord, Manaroth. He was a super chat. Manaroth was like he was a big leader. Like, Manaroth was not some dude from the pit. He was like a gigantic leader of the bird. I think he was there before Sargeras was. Like, he was a really, really powerful guy. Thank you much, Megathon. Appreciate it. But I think that gets us to our goal, so we can do away with this nonsense. And let's go to the Real Fake Wizard and what he has to say on the culture war being technically lost. We'll see. Check out chat. Here we go. Make sure the volume is all the way up. Put this on screen, and I shall update the tally. Here we go, chat.
Hello. I'm the real-life fake wizard. For the last decade and some change, the internet has discussed and chronologized the battles of the culture war. Well, after all the releases of June 2026, I'm here to confidently tell you the war is over. Yes, the culture war is over. Do you know who won? No one. Humanity is lost. To give a brief introduction of this culture war...
That's why he said, like, it's you lost. It's not us, it's not us, it's everyone. Everyone lost.
Or on one side, you find people who think a hero should adhere to the classical standards and beliefs of heroism.
Yeah, I think a lot of us think that a hero should be heroic, not morally ambiguous or anything like that.
That have been found throughout all of human history.
That's asking too much, though. Like, what? That's boring. It's not your dad's heroes.
Story is supposed to mean.
Well, it should be. should be your grandpa's heroes, should be your dad's heroes, because your dad's heroes were your grandpa's heroes, and your grandpa's heroes were your great grandpa's heroes. Your great grandpa's heroes were the heroes of a man 1,000 years ago. It's kind of why Joseph Campbell wrote A Hero with 1,000 Faces. It's a very similar premise to a hero. We know what a hero is like. That's what an archetype is. We know as people what something is. It just has different faces. An archetype is like, okay, that's the mentor. Oh, that's the hero. We know instinctively on a very human level, like a very instinctive lizard brain level, what things are. So these people trying to reshape our views and everything is not going to work. Like our factory settings, all right, are these archetypes that we talk about, these archetypes you run into, they are our factory settings that you can try to instill in us what a hero is, and it's morally ambiguous, it's morally gray, he can do whatever he wants as long as it's emotionally correct or whatever. But on a very human instinctual level, we know what a hero is when we see it. That's kind of why when you have someone who's willing to listen to reason, they could have spent 8 years in college getting indoctrinated with all this nonsense politics and stuff like that, and then it just takes a small appeal to the human instinct in their brains to have that all evaporate into nothing. All that indoctrination, all that propaganda, boom, like a balloon. It takes a little nudge. Like they kind of try to convince you what a hero is supposed to look like, and then once you actually see a hero, a real hero, instinct takes over, and we know that's what a hero is. So that's why it's an archetype. That's why it's a hero with 1,000 faces, because we, on an instinctual level, know what a hero is. We know what that looks like. We know what a hero does. All right. When we see a hero, we know it because it's pure instinct. That's why if it takes the face, it takes the 1,000 faces. It takes the form of 1,000 people. All right. So it's why we know that the Disney slop style is going to be slop, because it's the slop style to us now. It's instinct. We know it. We know it on an instinctual level that if we see a movie in that style, it's slop. It's going to be slop. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be quirk slop. It's going to be bad. Okay? It's instinctual. So the good news is that's not going to. So all this propaganda crap is not going to work, because it's trying to change us on an instinctual level, and it's just not going to work that way. It might convince the people for a time. If we see a hero, we know that's a hero. We know Superman, that when the Superman is a good guy, or he's being good, or he's being Superman, we know that is a hero. We know that's what a hero looks like. Usually how it goes. All right. That's supposed to be how it goes, and it is how it goes. It's kind of like a feminist who hates men and everything. She runs into a situation, and a man comes in to save her. There, boom, there's all the feminism just evaporates. This leaves her body when it encounters like a strong, actually masculine man.
Something, and that you don't hand children, the next generation of humanity.
Also, by the way, there's if an incel who's like, I hate women should be destroyed or locked up in cages or whatever, meets the right woman, meets a feminine woman who shows him compassion, like genuine compassion. Boom, incel stuff evaporates.
Protagonists that embody cowardly, weak, and or selfish ideals. The motivation of this camp of people is preservation of the values of the past. On the other side, you'll find institutions and people inside of them who look at the exact same stories and see a list of things that must be fixed. Too old, too simple, too narrow, built by and for people who don't look like the whole room. And they believe that to change and destroy the past is to make it better. And they mean it too. This camp is not interested in preservation at all. They will revise a story until it's less of a story at all and more of a delivery system for whatever message they've decided it's important for you and the next generation of listeners to hear. Which means one camp wants stories to retain their original meanings as intended by their original creators, and the other camp wants to use all the stories as mechanisms to say something else. Now, I'm saying that the culture war is over, and I'll admit I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but what I mean by that is that not only is there no winner at present day, but also this is a battle that has no end in sight. There is never going to be a definitive winner for reasons we'll discuss shortly, but further, and more importantly, there is no winner because there is nothing worth battling over anymore. Every single major property, story, hero figure, every IP, every motivation, every possible plot point, everything has been defanged, declawed, neutered, tortured, and executed. And I know that sounds awful, and Wizard, you're blackpilling, but what I'm describing is that we stand upon the rubble of creativity. There is nothing left to fight for. And no matter how much you might dislike what Hollywood and Wall Street produce, regardless of the camp you find yourself in, there is no denying that what we're fighting over now is crumbs. No matter how many hundreds of millions of dollars Hollywood and Wall Street lose catering to the institutions,
there's have infinite money to pour to making these insanely crappy shows and movies.
Another reboot will be made, another sequel for another day, another remake, reshoot, retelling meant to reestablish relevance, restore reputations, and rehabilitate broken brands while reassuring shareholders that reinvention will restore recognition. Superman didn't do well at the box office. Supergirl is also not doing well at the box office. Man of Tomorrow will likely not do well at the box office, but there will be another one. There will always be another Super someday. And whether or not James Gunn is at the helm, it doesn't matter. There will always be another and another. And with each other, the story, world, culture, character, moral, and message that the original creators intended is slowly and steadily washed away until Superman is not even Superman at all. He's just Super Fella now, a guy who happens to be super. And I hope I'm being clear that Superman is just an example of an infinite pattern. Replace Superman with any character or story you can think of, and it fits the same sad outcome. And so, well, why then? Why keep doing this? Why all the do-overs? And the constant fighting, too. Like, why engage in a culture war willingly, especially to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars lost? Well, actually, you'd be asking all the wrong questions. You would be assuming any of this is being made.
That's the big thing. It's not made for us. And they keep saying that to us, by the way. It's not made for us, you see. It's made for kids. They're trying to gear kids to watching this crap. And because I remember like a long time ago, right? There was like a thing where some of these people making like these comic books where they kind of have like the stuff you really want your kids to see, like this lesbian relationships and gay relationships and like, you know, this kind of thing. They said, oh, we want to put that in there to force a conversation. And they want kids to watch this and then ask their parents about it, and then their parents are going to be forced. And so they talk about gay stuff and butt stuff and everything. That's what they said they wanted to do. And obviously parents stopped that. And so, you know, everything's been going downhill, but Disney's been losing a ton of money. The comic books have been falling off the cliff because they keep insisting putting all this gay stuff in there. And parents don't really want to have that conversation. They want to maybe introduce that to their kid later. They don't want to hand their like 5-year-old a comic book, and it's going to be about some guy cutting his dick off and turning trans. Like, they don't want that. They just want, when they buy a superhero book, they want to buy a hero. They wanted the book to be about a guy fighting bad guys and upholding justice and virtuous values. They don't want to worry about the main character hating on their parents and cutting their dick off and, you know, all that stuff. And so the kid will come back, mommy, daddy, why is there 2 guys kissing? And then, here we go. Gotta talk about gay stuff and sex and all that kinds of, like, they're not ready for that. They don't want to do that. And it's not very it's not a good thing to try to make stories to force that conversation on people. You're just outright attacking your audience. You become a danger to the family unit at that point. And so when you purposely become a danger to the family unit, the family's going to cut you off. They don't have to have you. They don't have to buy your comic. And guess what? They didn't. They didn't buy your comics. They went away. And everyone has been going, why aren't anyone buying my gay comics? Because they're gay comics. All right. You want to write gay comics? Go to a niche where people want that stuff. All right. Parents don't want to buy parents by and large do not want to buy superhero comics just full of gay stuff. They don't really care about gay voices in Marvel. They just want to find a hero that is about virtues and values. Heck, they don't. Parents don't even probably don't want sex at all in their comic books. They don't. They want Superman to save Lois Lane, but then go home to two separate beds. That's kind of what parents would want in their kids' stuff, and stuff made for kids.
For you. And it's not. Yeah, Superman is not for you. It's not for me either. We might be the customers with the wallets, but we're not the target audience. There is no culture war over your childhood, but there is a culture war over your children. Okay, so if the culture war on the surface is fought over what two camps of people envision as human values, well, deeper than that, the foundational core is actually what we pour into the next generation, whether people want to admit it or not. Well, then, the best place for us to start with this discussion, I think, is with a brief observation of the most recent pieces of media. June 26th, 2026 saw the release of the second film in James Gunn's DC superhero universe, Supergirl. The team who made this movie went on the record before it came out and called protagonist Kara Zor-El an anti-hero. The director said it. James Gunn confirmed it. The lead actress Millie Alcock said she hopes young girls walk away after seeing the film knowing it's okay to be, and I'm quoting her here, a bit bad.
It's like, you really think little girls are going to go see this movie because there's a female main character? Like, little girls are going to be like, oh, I'm going to watch Supergirl. Yeah, Supergirl who's trashy and drunk and messy, and Supergirl is the kind of girl that in this movie that girls make fun of. That's kind of what just girls would mock the character Supergirl. She's not going to be a uplifting figure for them. All right, it's like if you made an action movie about a fat guy. It's like a fat guy. It's like, I hope like young men can be comfortable with their bodies, from this. Like, no. We're gonna mock you. Right? They're trying to make like a fat John Wick with Paul Blart Mall Cop, right? Like everyone's like, his fat John Wick. Men were not like, oh yeah, oh man, I could, if I could be 300 pounds and an action hero too. Like no one's like that. No one said that. Everyone mocked him relentlessly. This is dumb. It's funny because it's fat John. It's like they're trying to make fat John Wick. That's why it was funny. That's why people liked it. Like the little trailer with Paul Blart as a gunman. It's like that. Like women are gonna look at this and go like, what a trashy bitch. Like, she's so gross. Just peeing with the door open. What is this? And she's the girl that they would like. No one's gonna look up to Supergirl. Like she's a trashy whore. Like in their eyes, right? It's like they would mock her. They wouldn't look up to her.
Bit messy. This film was marketed and positioned as empowerment for women, but also children, both little boys and little girls. Yet it sees Supergirl as a belligerent drunk and not actually being the anti-hero they claim she would be, despite that being a whole separate issue, because Supergirl
they didn't forget the hero part. I feel like they forgot the hero part.
Is not an anti-hero. Nah, see, it's worse than that. Millie Alcock's Supergirl is positioned as a hero in the film, and she's told that she needs to be good. Be good is a repeated phrase by multiple characters, and yet the film does not actually uphold or embody the very definition it uses for being good. And they don't embody what being good means, because the uncomfortable truth is modern Hollywood doesn't believe in good or evil, not anymore at least. This is actually a very serious position of argument in the culture war. There is no good, there is no evil. Everything is now a kind of dangerous, sticky, morally gray. Nobody is really a hero, and anyone who strives to embody the classic virtues of heroism is a punchline, a punching bag, laughed at and mocked, pissed on by the dog. No. Classic morality is outdated and wrong. Superman sees the good in everyone, but I see the truth, is a quote from Supergirl in the movie. You see, goodness and the pursuit of goodness in one's real life are just bedtime stories you tell kids. The truth is for grown-ups, and the truth is that nobody's really good underneath. It's all just appetite and damage, and the mature thing is to quit pretending otherwise, which is ironic because while these writers think that they're able to extrapolate good and evil from their stories, replacing the heroes with Walter White derivatives of anti-hero, somehow they always leave in a
Yeah, Walter White was interesting because he was he was a negative villain. He was a villain arc. He was a negative character arc. Like he was the same kind of arc as they point out in the show, Tony Montana. Same kind of character arc as Michael Corleone. Both played by Al Pacino, oddly enough, but yeah, it's a negative character arc. It is a man falling to his flaws. That's what Walter White is, and they did it on purpose. They knew this because one of the things that happened was that he could have been granted everything that he needed because his old friends were like, "Hey, Walt, we heard that you had lung cancer or something like that, and you were a big part of this company. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay for your treatment." He could have swallowed his pride and said, "Okay, fine, thank you." But he said, "No, get that money out of my face. I'd rather turn to crime and start cooking meth." And that's exactly what he did. So this whole thing, the whole show of Breaking Bad is a man falling into darkness. And it's very interesting to see him fall into darkness. But he's a villain. He's a bad guy. He might have noble and ambitions. He might, have sympathetic ambitions and sympathetic circumstances, but he's still a criminal. He's still a bad guy. He's still doing terrible things. And choosing to do terrible things, despite the fact that a legal way to do all this is on the table, right? So they knew back then, way back then with Breaking Bad, that Walter White is a man falling to his flaws. It's not a noble pursuit that he's doing. He's falling to his flaws. He could have had everything legally, but he decided to go, "No, I'm going to make the money on my own." All right, that's where he arrived. That says, did nobody learn anything from the Snyderverse and hated the anti-hero Superman? Yeah, the anti-hero Superman sucks. Especially that part where he just cares about Earth because of Lois Lane. Thanks, Superman, I guess.
little bit of pure, unadulterated evil. Supergirl is no different. Morally gray storytelling from Hollywood has become a belief system. Because once you decide nothing is really good and nobody is really a hero, writing gets easier. You never have to defend a standard because you don't have one. You never have to make a character earn anything because there's nothing left to earn. And never risk telling the audience something they don't want to hear because the entire creed of morally gray boils down to everybody's a little bad. So just relax. And that's funny because the people who tell you there's no such thing as good and bad are usually the people capable of doing the most bad. Okay, so that puts us in a position where we see what's being made today, right? Supergirl is just one of many remakes fitting the morally gray structure, but that puts us in a position where we need to roll it back and properly define what is goodness. Well, it's not a vibe. It's not a personality. Aristotle defined goodness around 340 BC as that which aligns with human flourishing, the pursuit of ultimate happiness, or the word he used, which was eudaimonia, living a life of purpose, meaning, and rational activity in
that's true. Yeah,
accordance with virtue, rather than simply chasing temporary pleasure.
That's great. So it's what's it called? I think was it Epicurus who did this? I think it's either Epicurus. Where this guy basically made like a big commune. Like he was actually literally trying to pursue happiness, and he's like, okay, what is happy? What does this mean? He's like, is it romance? Is it love? Like, no, because love can lead to incredible pain. Like, is it this? Is it that? Is it like this? Is it like just base pleasures? No, it's not that either, because those can lead to moral degradation. And ultimately speaking, he kind of landed on like a commune where you live around a bunch of family and friends. And that was the best balance of joy. It's living around people who you care about, they're really close by, and without the necessity of romance and belligerence and moral degradation. So it's kind of like that, like the content state of being happy and healthy and prosperous, human flourishing. And that's kind of what it leads into. It kind of reminds me of that. So it's like, it's not about being completely lustful, because then you have the golden mean, right? You have the golden mean where it's about finding the good balance between things. Like, don't overeat, right? Don't be a glutton, but don't undereat either. Don't overdrink, but don't underdrink either. Like, it's important to have these moments of a little bit of vice. It's important for being human, but this don't overindulge. That's kind of the whole thing. Just don't overindulge. Like gluttony is not eating. Gluttony is overindulging. Right? Sloth is not relaxing. Sloth is relaxing too much. Where you really get nothing done. Are you too lazy? That's the idea. So yeah, we kind of forgot about this, like the state of being happy and healthy. Because what happens at the end of a lot of traditional superhero stories? It's like we had this little adventure, we had a crisis. The crisis has been conquered or averted or solved, and then the traditional way, the at least the comedic way, or at least now it's comedic. All the heroes, the hero and the people get together at the end and go, and then someone tells a joke, and we all end on a good laugh. That's how a good story typically is when it has like, or at least the archetype of a good story. Like we had an adventure, we overcame the conflict, and now we're all having a good laugh, until everything blows over.
Pleasure. Conversely, evil, as noted later by Augustine and then Aquinas, is not necessarily an opposing force, at least not always. Evil is more of a deficiency or separation from goodness, which means for you to be good requires active participation, choosing to do the right thing despite how hard it might be. And so that leads us to courage, right? You must actively be courageous in order to pursue goodness. It's not easy to do the right thing all the time. Being courageous is not the absence of fear. It's the choice to continue onward despite fear. Okay, so reframing, because this is a lot. One who pursues true goodness must pursue a life of purpose and meaning. And to accomplish that, you must be brave, all of which derives from the choices that you make. And those choices don't just mean action forward. They can also require restraint. See, cowards fail because they can't act, but brutes fail because they don't know when to stop. Someone who is pursuing goodness is standing in the gap of that. They can inflict damage, but choose not to instead. Well, that adds another layer to this. In order to pursue goodness, you must wrestle with the possibility of inflicting harm and or doing wrong. For example, a guard dog that bites everyone isn't good. A guard dog with no teeth isn't good either. The best guard dog is one that can tear the bad guy's arm off, but is capable of restraint. Having teeth,
you must be a monster, but a controlled monster. Batman is like that.
Is a requirement of being good. If you take their teeth away, or bringing it back to humans here, if you take away the ability to inflict harm, then there's nothing left to admire. You're just harmless. And if you are harmless, you cannot be all good, because as we said, to be good means you must actively choose to do the right thing. Those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed, will inherit the world. Goodness is not harmlessness. Goodness is power aimed and controlled. And
yes, controlled. You must be a controlled monster.
do you know one of the greatest characters in the last 100 years of fiction to exhibit
Oh, here we go. Let's see what this is.
these values of goodness happens to be none other than Superman himself.
Hey, yeah, what a great content creator. What a based, fantastic content creator. So based. Very much real fake wizard. Awesome. So based.
Yes, and I think it's best we take it back to 1938 with the invention of the character. Action Comics, dreamed up by two Jewish teenagers out of Cleveland, saw Superman as, quote, a champion of the oppressed. So that's our mission statement. Superman must be strong enough to fight oppression and also a champion of the people, as something worth looking up to or aspiring to be. Superman isn't good because he's strong. He's the strongest there is, and that's exactly why his goodness counts. This man could take the whole...
Yes, absolutely. Did you watch my Superman video? Because it's exactly what I go into. It's like his goodness counts because Superman as a character is essentially, or has become, the ultimate test of power corrupts absolutely, right? Because that's kind of what happens. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's the old saying. But Superman is the icon that goes against that. You can have a man so good that he can have ultimate power and still be a good person. Because that's what a hero does. It doesn't matter how much power they have. A good person will still be a good person. They'll be tempted. That's what I go on and about. Is that all these people are tempted. Every single one of them. But a hero will pass a temptation test. Now, Superman has a greater temptation to overcome than most, but he does, and that's what proves his strength. No man can have the power that he has and overcome the obstacles and temptation that he has without the moral strength that he has. It's why Superman is so great and why I love him so much.
Whole planet in an afternoon, and instead he puts on a pair of glasses and works a job like a regular guy because he sees this planet as his home. It's a place worth fighting for, which means he chooses restraint every single day. And why? Why choose restraint? Why choose to become Clark Kent? Well, because he was raised by two people in Kansas who taught him the values of being good and, more so, being kind, which also means that parents, or really parental figures, have that kind of impact on the next generation, you see? Our moral argument here is that the culture war is not just about what's here to entertain you and I, but what kind of beliefs and ideals we leave behind. For decades, writers have done versions of Superman where his ship lands in different places on Earth. What if Superman landed in Soviet Russia? What if he lands in medieval England or rural England? What if he's raised by the Wayne family and he becomes Batman? What if the US government gets him and locks him underground his whole life? See, every what if puts Superman in a position where his morals and ideals are all bent by the circumstances he's raised inside of. Take the Kent family away from Kal-El, and he isn't raised to be Clark Kent, which means he isn't raised with love for humanity, which means he's far less inclined to show restraint when he uses his powers, because nobody ever showed him a reason worth restraining himself for. Same baby, same ship, same impossible strength, but you landed in a place that doesn't believe in goodness, and that child will have a much harder time learning about and finding goodness. And the sad part is that all of these Superman what-ifs that we just discussed aren't hypotheticals. We are doing an experiment with it right now, on purpose, with every child alive in the West. Because children don't only learn what's good from their mom and dad, they learn from stories we hand them, from movies they watch, from games they play, from other children, from their educators, and from their extended...
We're social creatures. It's kind of why the weirdos out there are trying to manipulate your kids to being gay and trans and everything, trying to indoctrinate them. And then on the other hand, they say, when you complain about it, they say, oh, why does it matter? They're just movies for kids. You're a grown man. Why are you complaining about cartoons? Because it's important, because people are social people. Like our humanity is a social species. It's not just our mom and dad, it's our friends, it's the things that we watch, the things that we consume, the stories we hear. All of that helps shape a person. And when they get the wrong lessons, they become deviant. They become confused. They become angry. They become corrupted human beings when they get the wrong lessons, when they're taught incorrectly, when they find something that confuses them, that kind of goes against their nature, like this, all this mental illness, like all these men being angry and crazy and sometimes violent. It's like, what do you expect? A whole generation of men has been told that their natural instincts or natural inclinations are toxic and evil. You want to help defend somebody? You want to jump in and uphold justice and defend the weak from the dangerous? Where are you going to jail? Because you're supposed to be you're supposed to allow that, because the person you fought against was a poor retard or something like that. He was a poor guy, and you're supposed to just like let it go. Is let the person rape the woman, let the person kill the guy, commit murder, commit theft. Because if you step in to help somebody, you're going to end up like Daniel Penny. You're going to end up in court, your name dragged through the mud. Right? That's what a whole generation of men have been taught. Their natural instinct to go in there and protect people, to defend people, to uphold righteousness and justice, will be met with nothing but ridicule and possible life ruination. That's your reward. That's your reward for being a good person in this woke society. As a man, is going to jail, being ridiculed, having your name dragged through the mud. And all you had to do really to avoid all that was just mind your own business and let the guy commit the murder, let the guy commit the theft, right? Let the guy groom the children. All you got to do is do that. That's what the society is saying. We see that in Britain. You complain about the grooming gangs, you get put in prison, because that's Islamophobic, oddly enough. And that's where it goes. That's where it is. And you're as a man, you liking a woman, you're a creep. It's not liking pursuing a woman in the wrong way. It's just expressing your heterosexuality as a man towards a woman, that's toxic. That's creepy. That's what a rapey guy. You're lusting over women. Oh, what a horrible person you are. So it's like a generation of men have been growing up with this stuff being pounded in their heads, and you wonder why a whole generation of men is lonely, sad, and confused, and very, very angry. It's not really a mystery, but they act like it's one.
Families, yes. Children are a combination of all these things, but what happens to a generation when every story they're handed has decided that goodness and being good was a lie all along? What happens when kids aren't raised with Superman and they only get super fella? Well, you already know the answer. You raise a whole generation of Kal-Els who never got Kansas. So what exactly is Hollywood replacing Aristotle's eudaimonia with? Morally gray storytelling. Everything is morally gray. Everyone is compromised. And sure, morally gray storytelling can be engaging at times. Most people point to Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, is stories that are compelling as a means of being a north.
Yeah, but in The Sopranos and in Breaking Bad, the shows tell you that these guys are evil. These are not heroes. However, today's writing is they'll give us a Walter White figure, they'll give us a Tony Soprano figure, and then they'll tell us these are guys to look up to. These guys are heroes, are good people.
Star. Walter White is one of the most interesting characters of the century. Therefore, everything should mirror Walter White. Isn't that right? Rings of Power. When used correctly, gray storytelling still knows that goodness is real, and it shows you the good with some pieces taken out. But Hollywood treats morally gray as a philosophy. It's less of a tool to elevate goodness and more like a religion, a belief system. As a belief, morally gray removes all definitions. See, earlier we spent time defining good and evil, that to pursue goodness requires active participation. Well, if everything is morally gray, then there is no goodness. Nobody is actually good and nobody is actually evil. People just do things. Some of them do nice things, some of them do terrible things, but it all runs on one engine underneath, and that is, what did I want right then in that exact moment? It's a reductionist view of human beings, that everything we do is built on inherent desires and selfishness. We do as we want, because we can. Everything is preference and appetite. And as we said before, if nothing is really good and there aren't really heroes, then there is no standard to defend because you have no standards. There is nothing to earn, nothing really to overcome, because nobody set a bar anywhere for anyone to clear. Nobody has to be brave, since bravery was just a preference too. There's no hard right and no easy wrong. There's only the easy thing and the slightly less easy thing. And someone picking one over the other isn't a victory. It's just a mood. And what's interesting inside of this morally gray belief is how everyone points to Walter White as being a morally gray character. No, he's a villain. He's a bad guy. So is Tony Soprano. In Game of Thrones, almost everyone is villainous, and we find all of them interesting because bad people are interesting. A great villain is one of the best things a story can put in front of you. It just so happens that all of these stories have villains as the protagonists. There is no spectrum of grayness here. But look at what happens. If you take away good and evil from your story, then all that's left is bad guys. Let's go back to Supergirl, a film that dearly wants its protagonist to exist in a world that is morally gray, and yet the villain is anything but morally gray. Krem of the Brigands is a representation of pure internet fantasy evil.
Is it? Is he? That sounds crazy, but not surprising.
The only thing,
especially because it's written by a woman who obviously doesn't deserve it. She's like probably a feminist weirdo, and then on top of that, they use Tom King as a baseline, who's definitely like a feminist weirdo.
On this guy was a mustache that he could twirl. He has child brides in cages. He believes in eugenics. He's a bloodthirsty murderer, constantly seen on screen eating like an animal. So he's disgusting. He looks disgusting too. His men are also all disgusting. And there is no characterization, no depth, and no reason to see him as anything other than a checklist of everything a chronically online person thinks that evil looks like. Every box is ticked. Every atrocity stacked until he's so irredeemably vile that the only moral response becomes to kill him. And that is like a tell in poker. A screenwriter who actually believed in the gray, who actually thought good and evil are childish concepts, wouldn't need to. She could write a complicated man, somebody whose actions you understand, even if you hate them, is similar to the way Walter White works in the later seasons. Instead, she wrote a caricature of evil so pure and so ugly that you never have to sit with the weight of the choice of mercy. Supergirl tortures and then executes this man guilt-free. And here's what that means. The writer doesn't believe there's no good and evil. No, she believes it deeply enough to demand you see evil when she points it out. She just doesn't believe in the good anymore. But these writers, well, they believe in evil plenty. Yeah, and it's a really nasty...
Well, it's kind of like the whole idea of they believe in hell, but they don't believe in heaven. It is a very strange thing on the woke side. Heaven exists, but not hell. I mean, hell exists, but not heaven. There's a devil and there's demons, but there's no God.
Problem now. These writers don't believe in goodness, so when they're assigned a character or characters that embody goodness, they do things to them to change how audiences perceive those heroes. Sometimes it's by making them the butt of every joke. Sometimes it's by deconstructing them. But overall, this is one that's really key because you already have emotional attachments to those heroes from their past iterations. The changes that are being made in today's adaptations are not for you. They are to redefine how heroes are perceived by your children specifically. Masters of the Universe sees Adam as the absolute butt of every joke. Every moment that he starts to get agency, we see him pulled back down so the writers can say, no, you're He-Man. He-Man is stupid and embarrassing. We need to make sure the audience laughs at you and not with you. His companion and mentor, Man-at-Arms, is reduced to a toxic masculinity talking point. A belligerent drunk who confesses that his daughter is the soldier he wishes he could have been. Toy Story 5 tells 4 stories in one that all converge at the end. One of which is the story with Buzz and Woody as they chase after Jessie. Well, Woody, despite being the main protagonist of the series, has nothing to do here other than get mocked, made fun of, chewed on, and sidestepped the entire film. Buzz, who spent the previous 4 movies being a brave leader for the toys, is a gender role swapped and reduced to being a timid coward too afraid to propose to Jessie. So she has to do it for him. And when she kisses him, his leg pops like a swooning girl in a...
Also, yeah, that's another thing. It can never be a man doing this, right? It can never be like the man kisses the girl, the man does the assertions. That's too scary. People are still complaining about the whole circumstance between Han Solo and Princess Leia in Empire Strikes Back. Like, oh, he's assaulting her. He's pressuring her into kissing him and stuff like that. Like, so they'll just break down if it's the other way around. Like, if the man is the aggressive one. So it has to be the girl. The girl's the one that kisses the man. The girl's the one that proposes. The girl's the one that kind of makes all the aggressive moves. Because the other way around, the natural way, like the organic way, is that the man does all the aggression, and that's too scary. That's too scary for this tumbling in the brain weirdos. So that's why. Also, outside of Toy Story, you have comic books. Have you seen some comic book covers where all the women took over and suddenly it's all about romance and gay stuff? Sometimes it is about women and men, and the thing is, they'll have like a picture, either a page or a cover, where they're kissing, but it's like the woman is kissing the man, and the man's like, whoa, oh, like he's shocked and surprised, and it's the woman taking the move and being aggressive. Because the other way around would be too scary. Like, it'd be too scary for these feminist types. Like, if the man and the woman, even the man and woman, are just both kissing passionately, if he's taller and he's the one in control, that's too scary. It has to be the woman is taking control, and the man's like, what, huh, and is just surprised and shocked, and is just, whoa, what's going on here? Like he's completely taken aback, like completely taken off guard, and is obviously not a threat. That's the whole point of it. Is they have to take the threat out of the man, because if he's threatening in any way, it's too much. I can't do that. Let's see. T Nishi, the one says, yeah, most cultural differences are superficial. All people value courage, loyalty, and different degrees. And every culture encourages charity and selflessness for survival and comfort of the group. It's kind of why people are rejecting, even normies are rejecting wokeness, because wokeness is antithetical to all of this. And even if when wokeness kind of pushes charity or selflessness, it's for a corrupt reason. Like, it's not for the sake of good, it's for the sake of the self. It's like they've turned virtues into selfishness. That's what woke does.
50s cartoon. And when they get married, it's Buzz who walks down the aisle. Isn't it funny? Aren't we laughing? It's just funny ha-has. The opening scene of Supergirl is Crypto the dog whizzing on a newspaper that has Superman's face on it, setting the tone that Superman is a joke. This is continued with Superman's appearances in the film being uncharacteristically insecure, stumbling over his words, and being, again, mocked on screen by the writers who clearly have nothing but animosity towards the character. And so that brings us full circle and back to the top. I said earlier that the war is over. The reason for that is that regardless of the amount of money made or lost, these movies will keep getting produced, despite audiences begging for them to stop. And with each installment, less and less of what made the property great remains. And the reason to keep making installments is because it's not meant to capture you. You're not the customer. You already experienced real He-Man, real Buzz and Woody. You know the real Superman. You were there when the original stories were told. What is being made now is to give your children a different worldview than what you have today. And you may say, Wizard, these are box office bombs. No one is seeing these. Yes, that's true. But they are getting lots of views on streaming. And so whereas you had Luke Skywalker, Indiana Jones, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, Thundercats, Hercules, Tarzan, Frodo and Sam, kids today have no original to measure against. Firstly, because they look at original Star Wars and they say, ew, that looks old.
Because one thing we get made fun of for respecting what has come before. Like we hold the past as sacred. Well, yeah, you should always remember the past. He who forgets the past is doomed to repeat it. But one of the parts of their goal is to demonize the past. That, it's old white men. It's old. It's not your grandpa's heroes. As if the old stuff is idiocy and unenlightened. And today is the actual version of it, the true enlightened, smarter version of it. We fixed the issues of the anime. Right. Therefore, yeah, that's that way. The kids are like, no, I don't want to look at the old stuff. I want to look at the new stuff. And so, yeah, we're being trained not to look at the old stuff so they won't have a basis of comparison.
That's my mom and dad's movies. That's grandpa's movies. Yeah, that's number one. Everything has aged and kids are fickle, which means one side is coming to this culture war with a vulnerability, a hole in the armor. Stories of the past are bound to the past. And secondly, because what was made for the children of today is a feminized Buzz Lightyear. What's made for them is Superman getting mocked and belittled, and Woody getting mocked and belittled. He-Man is a joke. Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion in 2025 and saw Nani abandon the family for college. The aliens are bad guys. The whole thing.
Yeah, because again, usually the basis of this is if you are a woman who gets married, you lose your identity. But what the reality is what they want is, if a woman dedicates herself to family, she loses her identity because, she just becomes mom or something. So, of course, in the new era of Disney, Nani chooses college over a family because college means she's forging her own identity, her own path, rejecting family and choosing her own path. So she doesn't lose her identity to just being, Lilo's caretaker. That's what they see it. Instead of being a noble path to life, it's seen as a burden. Like, okay, well, at one point I'm going to lose my identity and sacrifice myself for my family, but right now I want to have my identity. That's kind of where the trickery comes from.
Found family arc of the original animated film has been destroyed in the remake. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the greatest fantasy stories put to screen.
Here we go.
Zuko's redemption arc is fantastic. Well, the live-action replacement, not remake, replacement, from Netflix undermines everything that made the original great at every single level. See, it's everything. It's everywhere. Not even Avatar from Nickelodeon could survive. Every story of every time is on the table, just waiting for a hope-devoid writer to get their grubby hands on it. And because the kids have nothing to compare against, they don't feel the downgrade, because you can't miss a thing you never knew existed. The emasculated versions of heroes don't feel like deflation because they never saw the peak. For them, Superman getting pissed on by a dog is the baseline. And it runs deeper than any single character because they're not just setting a child's idea of Buzz Lightyear or Superman or Luke Skywalker or Aang. They're setting the child's idea of heroes, period. Now consider what we said in part 1. If goodness is power aimed and controlled, then a hero is a dangerous thing that chooses mercy. If every hero a kid meets between ages 3 and 13 is an insecure, fumbling, bumbling, declawed idiot that must be apologized for, our hero quietly stops meaning the guy who learns to choose to be good. No, heroes are just jesters with superpowers, and at that point, all emotional attachment and meaning is lost. You don't have to teach a child to sneer at heroism. You just have to make sure they never once see the real thing, and then they themselves will not have any heroes to compare their own lives to. Nothing for them to aim at. What do you get on the other end of where there are no heroes? You get morally gray monsters. Augustine had a word for this 1600 years ago, and it's something we discussed before. Privation. Evil doesn't build. It doesn't need to. No, evil removes good and creates distance from goodness. So whether or not any writer or Hollywood executive drew any of this on a whiteboard or planned for this to be the outcome, it doesn't matter. The outcome here is the same, whether planned or not. A whole generation is getting its template for courage and goodness and what a man is even allowed to be from writers who think the entire concept of goodness is fraudulent. Be selfish. Because if you could be selfish, or if we can indoctrinate your children to be selfish, it allows us to get away with being selfish. Because the people to challenge the selfish aren't there to know that being selfish is antithetical to being good. Today's media is not being made for you. It is being made to erase you. At this point, I know many of you might find that what we've discussed here today seems hopeless and black-pilled, and I know that because I read many of your comments, but I'd like to resolve our discussion here with a call to action. I said earlier that the culture war was over and that you lost, and it's because stories are being told today that dismantle the value of stories across all of human history. This is not going to stop. They are making hundreds more even right this very minute. It doesn't matter if you personally are not seeing them. Some people are. And if they're normies, they're walking away thinking they have a grasp on who Supergirl is. They see Rings of Power and they think they understand Tolkien. They'll see the upcoming Narnia remake with a female Aslan the Lion that takes place in the era of rock and roll.
Here we go. Female Aslan Lion. It's a... As you can tell, LD likes Wizard because he's just sitting silent, kicking his feet in adoration. It's pretty based. It's pretty awesome. It's the caricatures. That's why they didn't want internet ID. That's what they want. That's why they want internet ID. It's another way to control what the kids see, to indoctrinate them further. It's not about protecting the kids. Yeah, just modern day parents have to be on the lookout now, because everything that's sparkly and colorful, that's seemingly made for kids, is actually made to indoctrinate them into gay stuff. I don't know why they just insist on dropping billions of dollars to do this, but that's kind of where it's going.
Roll from Greta Gerwig and think they have a grasp on C.S. Lewis. It's never going to stop. So no, we lost the war, but the truth is we were never going to win that fight. They're too powerful. They own too much. We've given too many chances and too many freebies. The war over the studios, over Hollywood, over movies and TV and entertainment, over who gets to hold the pen on Superman this year, that war was never winnable, and it was never the war that actually mattered. I told you at the very beginning, there is no culture war over you. There is a culture war over your children, and that war rages on. And that's one that you could still win. And the fight is not out there. It's not in the comments section or the box office. It's in your house with your own kids. It's with your families, your nieces and nephews, your friends, your communities. We spent this whole video proving one thing above all the rest. Superman is not Superman because of Krypton. He is Superman because of Kansas. Because two people on a farm bothered to raise a deity to be confident and kind. It's your job to be Kansas. It is up to you to be the Kent family for the next generation, for the current generation. We turn to entertainment as a means of finding values worth embodying in our own lives, and it is time to start living them today, to be there for each other, to be a better father, a better brother, better son, better mother.
We watch the older stuff first, and we'll watch the new stuff when the kids. Yeah, it's like I think I pointed out in some video, either a short or something, that they keep harping on this idea of this is Star Wars for the new generation. Star Wars for the new generation. Like, no, a good story never goes out of date. It's literally part of the philosophy and the truth of storytelling. Robert Bly talks about this in Iron John, so let's mark that off. He talks about how, I think he has an entire whole book separated from Iron John. That's about the power of old stories. In fact, how they're more powerful, and the reason why the reason he gives in Iron John is that they have withstood the test of time, and so these old stories have some powerful, timeless value that has existed and allowed it to persist and survive centuries, millennia, even millennia, by the way, of scrutiny, of bias, of other traditions, of retellings, things like that. They still survive today for a reason. So baseline, a good story never goes out of fashion. So essentially what I'm saying is the Star Wars for the new generation is the same Star Wars of the old generation. It's still just as good. It hasn't lost its value simply because it's old.
Sister, daughter, a better friend. You know the truth. You lived it. You got the best versions of every story worth telling in our era. Heroes who paid.
Guys says that they can have the Hollywood stuff. Indies are the future, absolutely. Indies such as Dr. Alpha and Lady Midnight, absolutely. And Lady Midnight does embody all of this. Embodies all of the traditional stuff, all the traditional heroes. It's about as I said before, you fall to your temptation, but a hero will see the mistake and climb out of it. That's the story of Lady Midnight. She has made her mistake a huge mistake and is willingly trying to claw her way out of it, trying to do everything she can to redeem herself for what she's done in the past. And we'll learn what she's done and what happened over the course of the story. In fact, the first story has the bad guy kind of mirror her journey. And so she has a personal connection to it on that basis, to the bad guy on that basis. Their stories are very parallel to each other. It's just that Midnight chose to do good and to redeem herself while the other person lost themselves in vengeance. And that's the difference in what their mentality is, at least at the beginning. So it's all of that. It's all of that. And it's unfortunate people really don't want to give it a chance because she's a girl. She's another girl boss. There's so much stuff in that book that everyone will like. All the traditional values, everything that everyone claims that they like, but they won't give it a shot because she's a girl. That's just unfortunate. But the story is about her. The story, she is the character. I can't just change it to a man. That's not the story. And see what Simon says. Let's not grieve about what we lost, but find strength. What is left behind. Yeah. So I talked about a long time ago too. But what we're experiencing now is not the end. Right? What we're experiencing now is not the finality of the human race or culture. It's simply our loss of a mentor. Right? Simply it's not only survivable. It is part of growing up. We lose the things that we found comfort in. We lose the things that that gave us a safety net. Looks like Luke Skywalker lost Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're losing these things, and it's very unfortunate. And technically, we didn't have to lose them, but it is survivable. We can get past this because there's people out there also who are striving to make good works, trying to make good works, and that's also very hopeful. And I know I am putting a lot of effort into making good works. I mean, they might be fun and violent or whatever, but the story of Dr. Alpha even is going to be a trajectory of a man going from complete villainy and nihilism to hopefulness. I put that in Miracle Child right from the get-go. We read Miracle Child. He goes from this guy who's just the absolute nihilism, this absolute hatred for everything, this flippant to sacrificing himself to save his family or what's left of it. At the end of Miracle Child, that's what happens. And he rejects this thing at the end of Miracle Child. It's like, okay, we want you to be part. We can give you another chance, Dr. Alpha. You can be part. You can be leashed to our organization and work for us now, or you can be a fugitive. What do you want? He's like, I can be a fugitive. Ha 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 ha. Like, screw you. Ha ha. I'm Dr. Alpha. And then White Knight has that story about how he has all these regrets and how, you know, he had that son that died up there. He just didn't tell anybody. And, you know, he regrets losing all of that. And then that changes Dr. Alpha's mind. And Dr. Alpha's, you know what? Fine. I'll surrender my freedom. I'll surrender everything that I once held dear. I'll be leashed to the good guys, and I'll do it all for my grandson. So all of that is set up in Miracle Child. It's not something I just added later and saying I had planned the whole time. I actually did have it planned the entire time. His character arc is going to be that of a villain who eventually turns over a new leaf to become a good guy. And Dead Man's Lullaby shows you that he was a good guy at one point. That the story of him, you know, meeting Mulvion at the end of Miracle Child, like the little story from the past, is him kind of being kind of neutral, but, you know, saving the kid being picked on. Like you could see that he has some virtues there. He's just kind of lost, an aimless genius trying to find a purpose. And he eventually found that purpose hunting down bad guys. But then something horrible happened to him that made him lose his way. And if I'm able to finish Dead Man's Lullaby, it's going to be in there. All the reason, all the stuff that happened to him, why he went from good guy to bad guy, it's going to be in there. I just need the money. It's just the whole thing. I need money. I need money to do these things. So hopefully, because comics are expensive, but hopefully if Lady Midnight gets funded, if it gets funded, hopefully that'll happen. I can finally pay myself back for the thousands of dollars I put into the thing. And then I can start work on Dead Man's Lullaby Part 2. So I just need the money. That's the only thing. I could pump these out. I can finally get these out, but I just need money. That's the whole thing. These cost thousands of dollars to make. So if I could just get the money, I could make these. I can make these stories using traditional storytelling, upholding traditional values that everyone wants, but I need money to do it. That's the whole thing. That's what's holding me back. I need tens of thousands of dollars to get it done. Let's see. Remember, says OG Star Wars is timeless. It is. It's an absolute masterpiece, and that's why so many people hate the original, and hail the oncoming new ones because, oh, look, the new ones are about how I'm okay. It's okay to be me. No, it's dumb. It's not okay to be. It's okay to be a better you. I'm gonna catch us. I need to find the clip of her saying, and many of her other amazing quotes, and make it lit dev watch them. Such lines like they want you dead and your family raped. Oh yeah, that's isn't that Sam Hyde? I think that's Sam Hyde, right? Yeah, this is Sam Hyde. Everybody says Girl Boss did way more harm to female protagonists than anything else. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, a girl is a main character. Well, obviously it's going to be awful. Let's see, chat. How generations, as much as it pains me, there will always be a point where new stuff for an old IP will be made. Yeah, because it's safe. It already has a built-in audience, and people are going to flock to it no matter what. And if we take Star Wars as an example, technically the world stops at episode 6, and people love this to see after. Yeah, but even then, they're still making it, and you know, they've done such a horrible job with Star Wars. No one's watching them anymore. No one's watching them anymore. Hey, Dr. Crow says, even though you ever thought about going prose and just making a fiction book? Yes, I have. But it takes a long time. It's a long time too. So I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Dr. Alpha began as a prose story. And it says, Litdev. Does Litdev does know Sam Hyde? Yeah, Sam Hyde is awesome. Sam Hyde is hilarious.
For their goodness with sacrifice and hard choices. And because you got all that, it is on you to be that for
And see, check this out.
I really don't like Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, me neither.
And I disapprove of what he did.
But
I use a combination of lies, manipulation, cheating, stealing, gaslighting, bullying, insulting, and flexing.
the people who get none of it now. Now, normally on videos like this, I often resolve by saying that it's up to you now to go tell stories and make the next wave of entertainment to compete with and replace what we have today. And that message very much still stands, but I think there's more to this one here. I think there's more action to be done. I think it's not so much in a massive creative project, though maybe it is for you, so much as it maybe is holding the door open a little longer for someone. It's saying hi. It's mowing the grass of your elderly neighbors and not expecting anything in return. It's being an ear for a friend who needs to vent. It's being present, not even just for everyone else, but for you too. There are things in your life that you can fight for, and maybe you should. Maybe there are things you've been putting off for too long, and if you took care of today...
Adrian says, I agree. I don't include the fact that people want to ruin the world of an IP. People love living in the world of these stories. That's why MMORPGs, people love this. Is why Morphagers are just kind of evolved into isekai, right? People want to live in these worlds, and today, being isekai into the world means I'm going to an RPG game, like a multiplayer online RPG. So there we go.
Your life would be better for it. And if you could make your life a little better, maybe then you could tentatively offer a hand to see how you might help others too.
You're such a physical beast. Just a nasty physical beast right now. Yeah, I was pretty good at sports. I think I'm going to be a good super soldier.
You're such a physical, nasty beast. Dude, you're such a nasty physical beast right now.
Nasty physical beast. Alexander too says that we need new stories like Lady Midnight. Yeah, certainly do. I think people like it. I think people who hate wokeness will like the story. I really do. And I think it's a pretty good mystery. It's not about girl power or anything like that. It's about doing something wrong and trying everything in your power to make up for what you've done and try to redeem yourself and to sacrifice yourself for the greater good. And compassion. I told my writer, not my writer, but I told my artist that Lady Midnight is a compilation. She has like the stoicism of Freerin because her demonic gift that she got for summoning a demon was a reinforced, fortified mind. She can actually take things that would drive other people insane. So she has like the ability to withstand the horrors of the world because her mind has been fortified in that way. She asked for knowledge, and that knowledge allows her to withstand a lot of crazy things. That's what it was. She's knowledge based. She pursues knowledge in all aspects. So she asked for knowledge. She can withstand that stuff, and she wants to make up for that whole thing where she kind of sold her soul to evil and became tainted by that action, right? And so she pursued revenge. You'll see why. Until she was saved by Dark Hood. She was saved by the guy Dark Hood, who was the hero of Orb City, and he helped set her on the righteous path. But she fell to her flaws. But now, after all that, she is working to overcome that, or work to correct where she had gone wrong. And then we'll see that the villain of Devil's Dwell in Silent Springs is a mirror of her, a dark reflection of who she is and who she was. And it's about, you know, there's hope that you can do wrong, but there's always hope to redeem yourself. You could do wrong, there's always hope, and it's all about compassion. Like she has I say she has like the stoicism of Freeman because she is very introverted and knowledgeable. She has the elegance of Integra Helsing from Helsing, but she also has the compassion of Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like she has a lot of passion, but also that passion can be reforged into anger sometimes. It's definitely possible, but compassion comes first. That's the idea. There's compassion comes first, and we can see that. In fact, her compassion is what led her to making that deal with the demon so long ago. So that is kind of the baseline story. I didn't give you everything, but that's kind of where her baseline is, and all that will be reflected in the villain. So yeah, it's built on these traditional values, very, very intentionally. Let's see. Cartridges is that's because the convenience of digital, but people were and are still willing to buy collector's editions with all the physical goods, but they stopped that too. They need to bring it back. It's just too much, I guess. It's too much. They can't allow that much power with people anymore. They can't give people that much power anymore. They want to be able to change whatever at any time, any place. Video Nisha, by the way, they should have $10 super chat. Thank you very, very much. I guess Rumble Rants. Thank you much, Video Nisha, for the $10 Rumble Rants. Let me get the right thing here. There it is. Oh my God! And see chat. Thank you much, Finonicius. And Finonicius says, this is why I've gone out of my way to collect physical media and the older movies and shows I'd share with my daughter. Yeah, it's a good idea because they want to get rid of it. They really want to get rid of physical media so you don't have the power to watch old stuff anymore. They want to be able to change it and alter it. And they've been doing this for years. It's just that they had to be, because everything was physical in the past, they had to do it with updates and, you know, new releases and digital editions or whatever.
We spend so much time talking about heroes and stories of heroes. It's your time now. It's your time up there. I think we have a lot of work to do, and it's going to come down to us.
It's Alchemic 80s. It's a $20 super chat. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it indeed. Let me see. Where's the right one? Here we go. Holy shit! Says being heroic is more than just being nice. In fact, it's you don't have to be nice. Like, being nice is an option. It is about taking an active approach to making the world better by not only refraining from the contributing to the ugliness, but stopping it. Exactly. And that's kind of where it is. That's kind of where the what's so interesting about the discussion on heroism, where the leftist Twitterati are like, well, you know, Jesus would hate you because you're being mean, and Christians aren't supposed to be mean. No, Christians are nice as a favor. You don't have to be nice, right? You don't have like a hero does. There's even a trope, a writing trope that says good does not mean nice, or good is not nice, and it's when you have a good hero guy who is an asshole. You know, my favorite example of this being Dr. Cox, who is a guy, an asshole, or with a heart of gold. Like, he's a good person underneath everything. But his personality, you know, he's very standoffish, very, very, very guarded. So he's a jerk. He's a jerk to help guard himself from the horrors of the world. So yeah, they're coming in and stop contributing to the ugliness, but stopping it. Exactly. Sometimes it takes an asshole to stop the evil. So it just does sometimes. But being a hero does not mean nice. Christians are nice as a favor. All right, as a favor. Heroes are nice as a favor. You don't have to be nice as a hero, but I like Superman being nice because he's Superman. But Batman being like mean and cruel, or Batman being more vicious, yeah, I like that too. They're both heroes. They just handle it in different ways, and this is kind of why they tend to be at odds sometimes, because Batman is more vicious. He is more brutal than Superman that usually is. Thank you much, Alchemic 80s. Absolutely, heroic doesn't necessarily have to be nice, but that's what the Twitterati say. Like the Twitterati are like, oh, Jesus wants you to be nice and kind and generous or whatever. No, what was it? stop hurting people's feelings. Like, no, that's not what Jesus said. Jesus was basically like, it's be nice until it's not time to be nice anymore. Jesus is like, okay, we can have your money lenders, you can have your temple, but to my apostles, I need you to all buy swords. All right. If you don't have a sword, sell your goods and worldly possessions until you can afford one, and then that'll be good. That was a command he gave. People showed me that quote. It was pretty awesome. Like, Jesus is so based, but yeah, just Jesus was like, buy a sword. All right, Jesus pro Second Amendment, buy that sword, and because Jesus knew that sometimes it's time to not be nice anymore. All right, sometimes it's appropriate to rise up against the evil, and that's kind of what happens. Thank you very much once again, Alchemic 80s.
Until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and cancel Disney Plus.
I'm trying to. I need money. That's the thing. I need money to make this stuff. I need that first, and then I can pay for everything I need, just for the print, for the postage, for the artist, all that stuff. But then I can throw in my next project into the ring of improving the future, showing people that what heroism is, that you can make mistakes and still strive to be a better person. And it just says cutting costs is driving force, yes, but like you said, convenience was pushed heavily, and it's the norm for us all here now. Yeah, let's see. Anyway, chat. Anyway. We definitely made Prelimin today. In fact, we're almost at the point of unlocking the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX stream. It is $14 away. Oh, wow. Carpenter like, Susan, actually, Jesus wants me to whip people. Yeah, it's part of it. Like, just, if you don't have a sword, use a whip. Or as Chad would say, use a big stick. Use a big stick. There's nothing that beats a big stick. Thank you very much, Carlos Batista. That actually puts us a little bit closer to the goal. There we go. I think we're just at $12 now. But here we go, chat. Lower your volume or raise your volume. We're going to go to Pillarman. Loud clip incoming. Lower your volume or raise your volume. Whatever you prefer, chat. And Pillarman. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ay, 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 ay.
Oh, yes, best chat. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. We're on to stream memes, chat. Streaming memes. Zillion Fitz is CLD. The problem is I don't want to look at Pillarman. I want to look like Pillarman. Well, the thing is, you have to look at it to get motivated sometimes. You're just comfortable sitting in your chair. Then you see Goku take his shirt off. Like, oh, man, I got to go to the gym. So it's like a little ending inspiration for you. Like, remember, you want to look like Pillarman. Here it is. Here's an example. Here's Pillarman again. Got to remember, go to the gym. Let's see. Where scientists have now trained 200,000 human brain cells grown on a microchip to play the original Doom. If the neurons fire in a specific pattern, Doom guy shoots. If they fire another pattern, he moves right, and so on. We grew a human brain fused to a computer, sent it to a digital rendition of hell, and gave it a gun. This says like, oh, even this thing could run Doom. Let's see. SX2 finally free after 1,000 years of being ruled by sin, instantly becomes turbo sluts. Yeah, it's kind of. I always thought that was kind of weird. That's in a way, Square Enix perfectly encapsulates what happens if you give freedom to women. Like, you get rid of religion, you conquer sin, and boom, all the women turn turbo sluts for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, it's like that's kind of weird. Why did they go this direction? So, player Dungeons and Dragons introduces the first canonically autistic character. The the player. Yeah, it's just, do we need representation? Is just cringe. Like, we don't really need like the first deaf player. This is dumb. Or the first artistic player. Like, we don't need this stuff. Let's Airmaker cast original voice actor to play Cabbage Merchant. I mean, that part is kind of funny. I just say there's like, I guess sometimes they get some stuff that's kind of funny. Maybe not correct necessarily, but funny. Let's see your chat. You wouldn't own a game. Yeah, you really wouldn't. Not today anyway. Don't. Let's see. Times are tough. Might have to downgrade from LGBT to LGBT without the plus with ads. Like, this is a good joke. Ads. Yeah, it's tough out there. Gotta start making that money. No more plus. Gotta have the ads in there now. Passion on Naboo. Oh yes. The classic book, Passion on Naboo. What's my purpose? You play Doom. Oh my god, tell me about it. What's this? Boom. Like, how come you're smiling there? Oh, we got a red flag. It was red flagged, and then they scored again. Let's see. Dear passengers, if you look down below, you can see the beautiful landscape of Bosnia. Very beautiful. What else can I say except you're welcome? Was it Gen 13? Like Daphne from Scooby-Doo. Like Daphne and Scooby-Doo teamed up with like Raven from Teen Titans, and then found some more friends somewhere. Oh, so is Gen 13 like its own book? I've never seen this before. Let's see. Hamas commander accused of theft and gay sex is killed by his own. Why are they crying then? Let's see. Breaking news. Like the official statement by Domino's yet. Good stuff. Very good stuff. I have to say, very, very, very good stuff. Let's see. Where is it? Wakes up in a cold sweat. Reverse Medusa. Oh, is this a human on his head? Turns stones into humans. That'd be kind of crazy. That reverse Medusa. A friendly reminder that when you used to rent videos from us, we didn't care who you shared it with, as long as you returned it on time. You had a chance to buy Netflix and you passed on it. I'm an intern. I barely had permission to have a lunch break. I didn't pass on anything. Let's see. There we go. This is the main character of K-pop Demon Hunters. Anti-corporation corruption raid in Iraq shocks officials. Authorities searching the home of Iraqi MP Hind al-Abbasi uncovered a staggering stash: $57 million in cash, 27 kilograms of gold, even gold-made underwear. What the hell? That is pretty Iranian to have, though. Is Jabba the Hutt Iranian? Is Jabba the Hutt Iranian in origin? That sounds about right. It's a freak. It needs to stop. It does. Disney Girls, same face. There it is. There's a video on that, I think. Oh no, better Midler. What? You are made of stupid. Bring out your dead. No evidence for workplace sex discrimination. Key results. Overall, men were significantly less likely than women to receive a callback. Men were overall 9% less likely to receive a callback than were women. Men were much less likely than women to receive a callback from female-type jobs. Men were 25% likely than women to receive callbacks. Yeah, basically, men are discriminated against. And it's open. They're open about it. Man, bear, pig. I'm super cereal. Super bad. Men of tomorrow. That's Manaroth. There he is. I love the fuck out of it. This is the actual line from his movies. You know what would be the best You know what? We missed out on opportunity. A huge opportunity was missed out on. Citizen Vigilante should have been done by Uwe Boll and starring Steven Seagal as the vigilante. That would have been perfect. That would have been the ultimate team up. And see, put that cookie down. Put that cookie down. This cookies. Let's see. And then I had so much potential. Where's my boyfriend? Oh yeah, the Courage Cali dog. Let's see. Wales online man admits the defecating in public swimming pool 18 times. 18 times. Supergirl unveils new superpower of losing $100 million in a single week. It's pretty impressive. That's Superman. The White Lotus, awesomeness and facial hair mandatory. Why do you keep looking me in my eyes? My huge tits are down here, Courage. There we go. That's interesting. What is this? Shogun of Steel? It looks pretty cool. It's Vanellope something. I forgot what her last name is. Well, Von Sweets. That's it. Vanellope Von Sweets. That's what they think the first movie was about, right? Is that what they thought the first movie was about? It's not. It's about Rick and Ralph doing all the work and she getting all the credit for it. Let's see. You're incredible. You look so cute, Mom. And see, I am Mrs. Nesbit. This is like this first Woody, and then Deputy. And that's pretty cool. Buzztron, you're like him. If you know others are suffering too and choose to help them, you're like him. Yeah, this is a little money. You need money though. I need some cash to make this stuff happen. What's this? It's a new. This is a new Sam Hyde clip. It's pretty funny. Or an asshole. And say, don't make me tap the sign. Good guy does not equal pacifist. Exactly. Good guy does not equal pacifist and doesn't equal nice. This doesn't. Anyway, chat. We're going to go ahead and end the stream for today. Thank you much everyone joining me today. Thank you much Best Chat for always being Best Chat. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. So again, of course, next time.
On a cold winter morning in the time before the light, in flames of death's eternal rain, we ride towards the fight. When the darkness has fallen